Hello and welcome to the Talk Away A1A podcast episode 9. It has been a while, but that's because a couple of us have been very ill, myself included, who hasn't been able to speak. Can't really do a podcast if you can't talk. But we are back and we are going to be covering a vast range of topics today. So in this podcast, we will discuss
mental health's relationship to gaming and how it affects your performance.
We will be fully covering the mental health aspect, as he's mentioned there. We will also be talking about single player and escapism.
Also, what everyone else has been playing during the Call of Duty drought.
And then we're going to be talking about NAR, which is news, announcements, and rumours, which will be featuring some channel changes and a lot of weight being lost by the pair of us.
And then also everyone's favourite at the end of the show.
Did ye nah? So, yeah, with that being said, we have got the triumvirate of awesomeness. We have got myself, Huff, we have got Hexy, and we have got the fan favourite Trojan down here. So, how we're all doing, boys? It has been a while.
Feels like a long time. Really does.
It's been 84 years.
Not bad. Just using beer as a coping mechanism to deal with me awful job.
Ah, well, fair enough. I mean, I just deal with it in water and try and drown myself routinely, so it's all good. It's all good. What about you, Hexy? What's been going on in your life of Hexington lately?
Nothing much, just repetitive day injury, really.
Fair enough. So, yes, as mentioned, we are going to have a couple of controversial subjects here today. So, we're going to be covering the mental health aspect of gaming. So, we're going to be covering the mental health's relationship with gaming in the full capacity. So, that means, is it good for mental health? We're also going to be talking about, do you need to be in a good state of mental health to play games well? And also, just in general, is it a good idea to have escapism in games? Is that good for you? Is it bad for you? So, all these aspects we're going to be covering because, let's admit it, over the past couple of years, mental health has started to become more and more on the forefront. But you do start to hear people, particularly older people, say that mental health doesn't really exist. But then on the flip side of that, now that gamers and streamers have kind of got used to how, like the mental health conversations developed within our community, the topics of how the role have kind of changed a little bit, evolved a little bit. So we're going to be exploring that in a bit more detail. So first off, let's just get everyone's opinions briefly on the subject of, is mental health and gaming something that's linked? Is it combined? What are your guys' thoughts on that initially?
I think it can be linked both ways. So I think it has got a both positive and negative outcome because people can use it to escape, but then at the same time, if you rely too much on it, are you then just becoming trapped and relying on it and then discarding yourself from the rest of the world? I guess it depends on what level of it are you doing, like what level of gaming to avoid mental health issues or to try and heal from mental health issues are you going into?
Yeah, so obviously we'll develop that conversation as well, but just briefly, what's your thoughts on that, Trojan?
Bit of a miffy question, isn't it? Like, I mean, obviously to a degree, if it's to a healthy level, so using it for a bit to unwind, fair play. But if it gets to a point where choking a bit, choking on his dick, but if it gets to a point where you're like festering in your own filth for like weeks on end and you smell like the inside of a fucking sphincter, then you may have to admit that you've got issues. Do you know what I mean? Like it can be making you worse.
Yeah, exactly. So kind of the way I see it, just to kind of chime in, much like you two, I do think that there's benefits and disadvantages. Now, a lot of the socially awkward, for example, you see a lot of like socially awkward kids or adults especially, who don't do anything. They're quite shy hermits, and like you got to question, are they hermits because of gaming, or is gaming just kind of part and parcel of their personality? What's to blame, the person or the gaming aspect, like 9-10 hours a day? So obviously we'll go into that as well, but kind of for me it's on the flip side as well, because sometimes, especially when working at home, I've got my laptop right here. I don't always have stressful days, but when I do, like my laptop's gone, it's packed away under this little chair thing, I don't want to see it, and when I'm here I I want to chill, play games, and that does help me out quite a lot. Even if I'm streaming or editing, still, like, I do have both sides. I do understand, like, maybe there's an argument for both sides there. So let's just roll back around to the example of the hermit. Like, where do we stand on that debate? Is it the games that makes that person like the socially awkward, unable to interact, like, not, I don't want to say a creep, but someone who would be perceived as that, or is it the person who's already like that goes into games? I want to kind of understand the relationship that you think and how much it's to and from each other. Where you stand.
I mean, for me, if I'm looking at that type of thing, so I mean, you can't pin it down to just those two things. It's a multifaceted thing. So I mean, for me, I could act prime example. We went to play pool. I went to the cash point. Within 10 seconds of seeing some random bloke, made him admit that he had a big pool cue case because he had a tiny willy. Within 10, do you know what I mean? I can talk to anyone. I play games because I work 8 or 9 hours a day talking to people, and I fucking hate people. So I play games to ideally avoid talking to the general public. It just isolates us away from it.
Yeah,
if you're better when you shoot random people, considering you don't like the general population of people.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the people who went through the campaign of Modern Warfare and shot the kid, they're my people.
For God's sake, he's not even lying, you know. Like when he comes, he walked outside for 5 seconds. Some bloke does walk along with a pool cue. Within a couple of seconds, he makes him admit it's because he's compensating for a tiny willy. I'm like, what? He wasn't even drunk at that stage either. That's what baffles my mind about it. Just like the awkward bit though is that obviously he said that, then walked in the pool hall, then we kind of walked in straight behind him because that's where we already were. He looked at him and was like, So that was actually really funny. But yeah,
Mr. Hoff, actually, I think you brought an important factor in that you didn't realise when you were kind of going through your opinion on kind of how the game
doing that again. Go on.
How the gaming world is kind of affected by, is it like the parents, or is it like the parents are a massive factor in, I guess, how much time people get to games, how much time they spend on them, and essentially kind of monitoring what they're on, because monitoring what they're on can also depend the type of people they come across.
So are you...
Like, in games, there's toxic communities in certain games, in certain platforms, especially things like Battle Royale, Call of Duty. Those are very toxic areas.
Now,
if you hire a 5-year-old in that area and you don't monitor his behavior, he's going to pick up characteristics from people all the way around the world, whether they be sane mentally or not. That person, if he spends enough time with them, is going to pick up things and learn things from them if they're young enough. Because at that sort of age, they tend to follow what they find fun, and without direction of knowing what the difference between fun, right, and wrong.
So are you suggesting that this relationship between like the introvert, if you like, and like the effect that gaming has on that is actually more so to do with their upbringing, parenting, more than actually the relationship between the game and the person?
I definitely think there's definitely a good tie. Because depending on your upbringing, kind of depends if you get into computers originally anyway.
Well, console gaming and PC gaming doesn't really matter. Just like the fact of the matter is...
No, just gaming in general.
Yeah.
Like if you go into mobile PUBG, it's... I mean, I don't really class it as like gaming, but it's a game nonetheless. There's still toxic communities. It's still a Battle Royale. PUBG was always quite toxic at the same time as well. But if you take, for instance, a child that has, like, obviously has parents, and that parent doesn't monitor the time that's on there, and they're playing games from a young age within these sort of communities, and you're not monitoring or sitting by that child listening to what they're saying, the people they're talking to, eventually that child's going to pick up. No one's there to steer that child. Is this right? Is this wrong? Is this fun? That child's going to decide on his own. And is that the right time for a child to be deciding those things? Because that kind of, without the monetarization of a parent, while that child's in those sort of areas, that child can essentially be steered in any path that, and it'd definitely probably be, it's not necessarily going to be good for the child. Do you know what I mean?
So coming like into the upbringing, so like essentially,
Yeah.
it's down to the parent and how much like that child spends on that game going, or like just games in
Like
general,
the exposure to games.
growing up. So like an interesting trend that I've noticed in the past 10 years or so is it's something. It's like along the lines of gaming you used to do to have fun, and
Yes.
sports you would play to win. But now it's the other way around. Like kids at school, sports isn't about winning anymore. It's about having fun. And now games are about winning. If you're not winning, you're not having fun. So
Right.
it's
Correct.
it's
Yeah,
interesting.
that is right.
It's interesting how that dynamic has changed as like the gaming community has developed. So I think that whenever that point happened, that cross turning point between kids going to games to win instead of sports to win, losing that competitive edge of I don't really know how to word it, like the physical activity, like actually out there and winning with your teammates, like in person, they're there, and then obviously losing as well and building that character and building that resilience together as a team to kind of come back and come back next time, come back stronger. And often enough, like the team.
I think you made a good point.
The team at
be
Sports
honest.
Day who lost, or the people who at Sports Day lost, would feel shan. But now they get medals anyway, so they're not asked.
Yeah, there's no winners or losers in sports anymore. Everyone gets a.
And I
If you
think,
want to win, you go play a battle royale and
think-
you make sure you're number one.
well, this is the problem. This is the big problem, though, because obviously kids growing up. When I say kids, I mean like 9, 10-ish. I know like kids younger that are playing like other simpler things, but they're all wanting to do what the older kids are doing because they're looking up to them, especially at 12 onwards, because obviously that's when they start secondary school. So you've went from being the oldest and being the trendsetter to wanting to do what all the year 11s and sixth formers are doing. So they're obviously all playing stuff like Battle Royale, and their confidence now, because they're based on winning in games and not in sport, which is something that's neither here nor there. But the problem with that is that games like Battle Royale, you only have a win percentage at best of about 5%. Lower if you're not like a good gamer, should we say.
0.05%.
Oh, 5. Liviosa. But no, like the point I'm trying to get across is that kids develop confidence in being competitive, in having fun, in being in that environment. But the problem is that kids are looking to games like Warzone, like Battle Royale, like Apex Legends. These games are really popular, but the problem is that you're not winning these games often enough to be able to actually build confidence in a meaningful way, which does I feel go and affect them later on in life. And I think that trait can be seen for miles. The kids that actually go out and interact with each other have more confidence than the kids that don't. And you could argue if games like, where they were winning all the time, would they have that confidence as well? Because I'm not being funny. Like, I was really good at multiplayer on COD, and I knew I was really good at multiplayer on COD, and I talked about this in the first episode of the podcast. I was always that kid people went to for the care package glitch, because they knew that I could get 8 kills in the spin quite easily and get the airdrop. So, because I was good at games and used to winning regularly, which you do on general multiplayer games, I built my confidence quite quickly and quite effectively, so to speak. And then obviously I could take that into sports and be confident, and even if I lost, I was like, yeah, it's fine, it was fun. This is like where I'm getting at. So do you think I'm talking like absolute tripe here, or do you guys think that maybe there is something to be explored there?
Well, I think I'm kind of with you. I do kind of agree they've taken away the aspect of winning at school. Like, see, to me, winning in Call of Duty now, although it's fun, like nothing quite beats that feeling of winning as hide and seek as a kid.
Hide and seek.
But you know what I mean? Like, Joe, when you were a kid and used to come out like, yes, no one's found the bar. He's all blind Jews, and I'm sitting there with 4 glass, like, you know what I mean? And they kind of find us. Like,
I play Battle Royale now.
that's like nothing
Hide
quite
and
beats
seek in
those
Battle Royale.
moments of when I was like younger. Yeah, like when I look back, and I kind of think of like things that we used to do physically and actively as a kid, and you used to come out as a winner. You don't quite get that feeling, although you do kind of get some sort of sense of reward, even though you physically don't get anything for winning.
But then
apart from like XP.
When you do get that feeling for winning though, like particularly in Battle Royale, you're sharing that with one or two people at most, and often than not, they're people that they've met on the internet as well. Like,
Yes.
which is kind of the problem. Like, you can't share your success with your friends. Like, for example, if you go, like, say, for example, I go play football as a kid, I score the winning goal in, like, a tense, like, 1-0 win or something like that. Like, I go to my dad, I'm like, Dad, I've scored this goal, that was wicked. And, you know, like, and the dad's like, oh, well done, son, proud of you. And, you know, like, you have that feeling. You can share your achievement with people. You can share that with people. Whereas you can't really share that with people when you're gaming. And this is kind of a big problem, because if I run downstairs and be like, Dad, I got a Warzone win, I'd get a slap across the cheek and be told to kind of like, oh wait, I don't really give a shit about your wins.
He's like, what the hell's a Warzone win?
I need to derail this conversation.
Go on.
Where is your fucking "It's Coming Home" t-shirt?
Right. This is why I'm wearing the tune top. This is why I'm wearing the tune top, because that was just a warm up. That was just a warm up, and now it's all about Newcastle.
No. Is it still coming home though?
And it's all about Newcastle.
Is it still coming home though?
It's all about Newcastle.
Is it still coming home though?
The Premier League. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
It was coming Rome for like days.
Yeah.
Football's coming home. Fuck off.
But no, the point of the matter is that you can't.
You're not wearing the t-shirt. That's the point of the matter.
Fuck off. So we'll come round to the, like, obviously that soon, prick. Now that you brought it up, but yeah, like, you can't share the achievement of winning, because when you sit there and you sat there and you say, like, oh, I got a Warzone win, that, you know, I was dead cool. Someone's like, yeah, but I got up with so many kills. And then you go around and tell your friends don't even win. Like, Hexy, if I walked up to you and said, Hexy, I got this mint, like, 20 kill win, 30 kill win, you'd be like, all right, nice, cool. Like, you know what I mean? You can't share. You can't really share that as much.
Good, but
like, kids can't.
I'm not exactly gonna embrace you and wrap my arms around you, take you for a pint.
Well, yeah.
One of the questions that you could ask with that type of topic. One of the questions you can ask with that type of topic is, what year did hide and seek become Mike Myers? That's a good question.
I like it.
I think it's Call of Duty 4. I love Call of Duty.
I think it was actually Call of Duty 4. Yeah, I think you're right.
Call of Duty 4, I remember playing hide and seek, and then it
Private
went to
match.
Mike Myers, and it was private match, and it was on backlot, and everyone used to climb all the scaffolding and get on top of the buildings.
It was rad.
Crossfire as well, getting on top of the flat towers and stuff like
Jumping
that.
on the washing machine like an absolute fucking hero.
I remember Bog. I played like an online, and I ended up like my mate. It was Eric, Slapshot. He boosted us over the top, and I did a rocket jump onto the roof and then ran all the way around, sitting on the top Bog playing hide and seek, and they were looking for us.
Well, this is what I mean. Like, the games that people could be playing in childhood, you can now play, like, you know, on.
The remastered version shite though.
Whatever. Like, you know, the point is that you can do it, regardless of quality. But like, obviously, going into that point, you can't share the victories and that stuff as openly as what you normally could, which means you're not really building your character that much, and it kind of leads to egos being a bit fragile. I find, especially, like, you can tell when you kill someone on COD who's got a fragile ego and who, like, is a bit more, what's the word, sociable, we'll say, who goes out a bit more often. And, you know, it's there to see quite easily, especially if you play multiplayer and you get dev comms all the time. But
the best part of Call of Duty, to be honest, for me, at the moment, Call of Duty, the only thing that's got going for it is the death comms, the desk slams, the control. You can hear people throw their controllers and the wire disconnects. Like, you can hear it.
Have you been watching me play a game?
That's the best part about Call of Duty. Well, I know, because you don't play controller, you play keyboard and mouse, and I know your keyboard and mouse doesn't leave your new desk.
Just starts hammering it and keys just start flying everywhere.
But you hear it. But we had a good couple of games the other day. Like, I hadn't played in ages, and I come on, and we had a good couple of games, and it was quite fun.
Your field of view nearly got you killed in a final circle, though.
It did. Charlie, someone's banging on the front door. Wait, I think so.
Bait ya.
Jeeves.
It doesn't work as well when you've got a fucking clip.
Aye, this is true. So, like, we'll kind of move on with like the relationship. So, like, I'm getting the feeling here that everyone feels that it starts at a young age, like the negative side of the the gaming relationship, so per se, that starts at a younger age as opposed to, like, say, someone who's always been socially active and coming on, like, say, in their late teens, a bit less effective per se. So at what point, like, is a child or a young teen playing too often? At what point is this a problem? If there is a problem, like, where do you guys sit with that particular question?
It's a problem when you make excuses or make holidays or do anything but game.
Yeah, and I think a big thing here as well is that kids see, like, people go and be professional gamers and make, like, quite a lot of money, and then every single kid wants to be a professional gamer. Every single kid is putting more hours in to try and get better and better and better. And obviously that makes games a bit more...
out there now, though.
That makes games, yes, a bit more competitive, but realistically, 99.9% of them aren't going to realise that dream. And it will be entirely based on ability, and that, you know, that hurts quite a lot. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of like a stagger as well, when they're putting in all these hours to be the best, and then you're top 40,000 on COD, if that. Like,
that's not just gaming though. That's like fucking things like Instagram as well. Someone saves up for fucking 4 or 5 months and buys themselves a pair of 700 quid shoes, and then posts loads of photos and like, look at me and me fucking mint shoes, and it's like, nah, you fucking shag cats. No one cares about your fucking shite shoes.
But I'll drop you a like just a thing. But you paid 700 quid for like 1,000 likes.
The same thing, like, it goes for, like, you could see someone who's like, and I fucking hate using the term, but an influencer. It's like, you shouldn't be fucking, the only thing you should be influencing is a tea towel into a wet cup to dry it, you fucking dick. But they'll go out and they'll rent a Bentley and do a photo shoot and be like, new car, and it's like, nah, get back to fucking shagging cats.
So I just end.
and just because you were going to
he's got a very good point. He's got a very good point. I'm just agreeing.
Not worded particularly well, but
I like this argument, because this kind of suggests that it's not actually gaming that's doing the damage. The damage is people,
social media,
the publicity,
people wanting to be famous, people wanting to be, like, doing publicity. Yes, we've got a bit of a cheek to talk about this, running a podcast and myself a YouTube channel, but, like, we're not necessarily doing it for fame. We're doing it because we enjoy it, pretty much.
You're not. But the thing is, though, you're making videos. And I mean, let's be serious. That it's not that often that I play in games with you. Oh,
nice.
Yeah, that was moist. Wait, there. I need to do it. Moist. But it's not often that I play in games with you. But some of the footage that you pull, like that fucking mad one in the tower where you slapped some bloke all hour, killed his pal with a deagle, went and killed another lad, knifing him, and he's screaming on. That's very few and far between. But if you're a content creator and that happens to you, are you not going to share it? No. You're obviously going to blast that on a video. And it's not like when you're... I mean, obviously at the minute, you're not at a point where... I don't know how YouTube fucking works. I just sit here and chat shit and drink beer. But I don't think you're at a point where you're making money. And
No.
Even if you were, I don't think you're, like... For example... gonna go out and like buy yourself some fucking daft car and be like, hey guys, look at what I've got. It's like, nah mate, you're gonna, even if you were making money and you do buy or sell a nice car, you'll probably just sit and continue to play games and post content about that.
Might be like, hi guys, I've got an RTX 3090.
Hi guys, this week I got a Bentley Continental GT with my 3 kill to death ratio. Fuck off.
Please don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe.
Like, when we started getting into things like streaming videos and stuff, we never really did it with the intent of, like, kind of making anything from it. It was always like, that looks fucking fun. They're having a great time. And then we were kind of jumping in Verdansk and stuff and just having a laugh. And we were like, someone's got to see this and like this.
Yeah, because
like, surely.
Because, like,
Like,
without blowing our own trumpets, we're quite good at the game. And obviously,
I'm not. I'm shit.
I was going to say, Trojan, you might lack talent, but what you do lack in talent, you do make up for in a fantastic character and on-screen persona. Comedy gold. So, you know. But,
No, don't stop there. Keep going. I'm nearly there, man. I'm nearly there.
and you,
he's gonna have to get an adjuster for his headset. Just like
for me underpants, it's making me willy throb.
But no, like, the point is
Bulbous.
that everyone wants to go at fame, everyone wants to go at getting all them likes, and maybe it's not the gaming side of it which is actually bringing up these issues. Maybe it's more so a problem with society and how that pressures children and young teens to kind of see themselves in an image. Obviously, with all, like, our particular example of this would have been people getting photoshopped in magazines, early social media, and thinking, I can never look like that. But it turns out they don't look like that either. And now it kind of feels like the pressure's not so much on stuff like that, but it's evolved into how many likes people can get on a post. And people's self-esteem seems to be directly influenced by how many followers and likes they're getting on a daily basis. So that kind of makes me think that maybe it's not gaming that's the issue, it's the culture and society that these people are growing up and living in. Maybe that's the cause of everything, and like the very weak mental health going on in particular at the moment. Fire away, guys.
I blame Brexit. No.
Revote.
We vote for depression.
No. I literally think a lot of people's it's literally been because like for us, those who haven't lived in the UK may not understand, but like we've like even us, like I've just turned like 30, I think, or 20.
Where you old fuck?
Or something. Charlie, am I 30? I'm 30.
That old he's forgetting.
Right, so I'm 30, right, and I've lived through like what was recession.
Yeah.
Recession, like no one had nothing. And at that point, when a recession hit, like that's when everyone kind of turned selfish. I don't know, like the world took a turn for people in England because you kind of, when a recession hits, no one really has anything, and then people start relying on each other, and those who you thought you could count on, you kind of realize you couldn't, and it kind of separated a lot of people in a lot of ways. And I kind of think that put like a tier structure into the UK. Like, do you know what? I was above that person when the recession hit, and I've maintained that level above that person. Like, it's my goal not to drop as low as that person. And I think that's the total incorrect way to look at things.
So you reckon there's similar things happening with like popularity and likes and subscribers?
Well, I think that's where it started.
Like,
because we would have been around about 12, 13. And that's when gaming was really coming in, like when it started to come. I think I was around about 15 when the 360, 14, 15 when the 360 come out.
You were ancient, fucking hell.
Yeah, but like that's like for me, that's when like gaming kind of took a step up because there was like Halo and Call of Duty and online multiplayer at a different level. There was like that multiplayer was pretty much as big as it could get unless you got a PC.
Right, and here's a question for you then. Where was your excuse the random paintbrush. Where was your mental health at that time though? When you're 15, growing up in a recession, brand new console, where was your head at then? Just for example.
I was in a good space then. I think I was when I turned 16 was when I first received a payment into my own bank for playing games, because before that I had to go to my mum and she had to sign for us to give us permission to play online games at a competitive level. Tournaments and stuff.
It's mad though, isn't it? Because like when you're on about fucking recessions and that, it's like when you were younger, you used to like whinge and that, and your mad be like fucking.
Money grows on trees. Money's made of fucking trees, bitch.
but it's like, you keep whinging, I'll give you something to cry about. And you thought you were going to get a smack, but instead they crashed the fucking housing market.
And for reference, I never called my mum a bitch. She would have took the fucking face off us.
I still would.
I'll put that straight now before that goes. Like, because if she's looking down on me and I don't put that straight, I'll get an invisible bit later.
My mother had fucking uppercut us clean out me slippers if I fucking fucking sport it when I was a Ben.
They'd be stationary, wouldn't they? Your slippers wouldn't move.
Even if you didn't say anything, even if you're just silent in the wrong tone of voice, just fuck off.
You go, ma, can't hear you, can't see you, but you can bend slippers around the corner.
it's like Wanted, where he bends the bullet around the car. She's just like fucking cork slipper, taking your lips off. Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So you're at the age of 15. I suppose we could use this example for ourselves, actually, Andrew, growing up a lot and kind of, shaping with teeth in the likes of Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2 lobbies and all that stuff. What parents involved in obviously the gaming, especially map packs and stuff like that as well, and then the games themselves. Like, I think a problem.
Haven't you already bought that game? Yes. Well, what are you buying it again for? It's more stuff for that game.
Well, actually, I'm not buying it again. You are. But
like, I remember being able to play with friends though, because I couldn't like. Well,
this is
I remember like the first Call of Duty map pack where there was like the XA. I was like, I'm not buying. Like, you've got the game. I paid for the game. If you want anything else, you've got to do it yourself. And this was like the first map pack edition. This was like before I like really got into like competitive playing. I was kind of in and out, but I was never really trying to seal the deal at that point. I was just kind of enjoy. It was fun more than anything.
Yeah.
Like, I used to love going on and just slaying people. It was brilliant. Controller players now are a total different level to what they were back then as well. Mm-hmm. So that's another thing to take into mind. But my mother wouldn't, like, if I couldn't get a map pack, I was not playing with my friends if they had it because they were like, you haven't got the map pack, can't play it.
Yeah, and that in the zombies map as well.
We're not buying those maps to not play those maps because you don't have them. And that's kind of where... That's kind of when the recession and stuff was happening.
Exactly, because this is kind of like the thing, and I think I've been on both sides of that growing up. One where you have the map pack and others don't, and one where you don't. Now, I was the don't first, so people's attitude towards that was, you don't have the map pack, that sounds like your problem. And that kind of left you being isolated for a little bit. And then at the same time, you got the flip side of it, like, I've got a brand new map pack, this is so exciting, I want to get to use it. It's like, I don't have the map pack. It's like, wait, you don't have us either then, love you, bye. Someone got sacked at work today, well, not sacked, someone left at work today, and my message was just, love you, bye. That's all I said. You think I'm joking, I'll send you the screenshot later. But, no, like, how damaging as a younger person, depending on parents, to buy not even map packs but games, like, how damaging is it if they don't get those games bought for them and they can't interact with their friends? Is that where a problem lies in itself, or is that a kind of tough tits, deal with it, you should be kind of toughing up in that situation? Like, where do we stand on this particular one? Because for me, obviously it is down to the parents' money, but at the same time, gaming, I know we say like socializing, but gaming is socializing as well. And if you don't have these games that your friends are playing, you can't socialize with your friends as well in that, and you get socially left behind. So where do you guys like stand on that?
It's difficult, isn't it? Because, like, as you say, it's the parents' money, not the child, and obviously the parents' view of priorities is not going to point towards their child's add-ons of a computer game when they've already paid for the computer game and console, and then the live, and then the subscriptions, and then do you know what I mean? It's kind of an ongoing thing, and I think there is a point where parents
different now with Game Pass though.
Much, yeah, because they get you every month or every 3 months with battle passes and stuff like that, and it's like, oh, wait, if you want extra XP and stuff or extra skins,
wins,
which everyone else gets, you get the battle pass, but then you're paying more for the skins that you actually want. People buy the battle pass and they don't even want anything in the battle pass. I bought about 4
just don't
battle
want to get left behind,
and I don't think I actually physically use anything that I've got passes. I think all the stuff I use, I physically paid cash, like £10, £16, like here and there for the stuff that I actually physically use.
Mm-hmm.
Not on Rocket League though.
Rocket League, I don't even put money into Rocket League, because Rocket League, you can buy the battle pass once, get the grind to a level 100, and you get all the points for the next season's battle pass plus an extra 300. So, like, within 3 like for one battle pass, you can earn the free battle passes for the rest of your life, and then if you continue to play and grind it, you can get the battle pass and plus whichever add-ons without having to physically put a penny in.
Yeah.
It's
So let's go on
like,
the other
you
side of this
Yeah.
argument per se. So obviously from the child's perspective, is it damaging? What about from the parent's perspective? Because guys, I know we don't want to admit it. Well, one of us actually is. Say you're the parent, and then you've got the Ben asking for the games and the battle passes, and to buy brand new games like a couple of times a month. And games are really expensive now, especially like EA games. Always being the big games are always around 60 quid now, which is obviously no good for anyone. And you can't really tell a kid to wait for sale because all their friends would have been bored of the game by the time they come round to get it at a discounted price. So from the parents'
It's probably
perspective,
playing the add-ons by the time they get the base game.
and obviously we're at parent age now. Obviously, Hex, you are a parent. That's right, Andrew. You're getting old because I'm the youngest one here. Oi, oi.
Either you guys are just not working, or it's like
But like from the
he's
parents'
Just one here.
shooting blanks.
What do you say?
He's not getting laid.
The smallest one here.
Yeah, very funny.
I can't see a fucking stepladder this week where you put that. Speaking of parents discarding their children, where's little stepladder Hoff?
I thought you were going to say, "Where's Daddy?" There.
But and all,
Like, I
and
don't
all,
know, I haven't seen him in
He's
10
there.
years.
He's there. No, he's there. He's there. There he is. There's Daddy.
in all fairness, like, so when, say, for instance, like, I obviously got my daughter's tablets and stuff, like, they used to play on my PlayStation, they used to play a bit of Rocket League, they never used to really ask for anything off PlayStation. It was just like, Daddy, come and play the Spider-Man game, or we'll come and play with the ball in the car. Like, they weren't really interested in what the games are called or what they offered, they just liked playing them. Like, they actually enjoyed them for the enjoyment of them. However, when I give them the tablets, it was like, Dad, I want this game. And I'm like, all right, what's that game? And she's like, I don't know. I'm like, well, how much is it? It's like, I don't know. So I look, it's like £15. So I was like, you do know it's just like it was like a Tomcat add-on or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it just give her coins to really just like buy outfits and stuff. And I was like, it's for a game you've already got. She was like, but I want this game. And I'm like,
You're that
like,
parent.
and I was just like, oh fuck it. I was like, has a 15 quid, just like I buy. Like I had me card and was set, like literally, if she just pressed buy, she would have got it, and I would never have known.
Yeah.
Because it all goes from email on an account I don't really check. It's like so she could have done.
Buy the
She
tablet.
used to come up to us and just be like, Dad, can I buy this? And I was soft because girls, man, I'm dad and daughters, like whatever the fuck I want.
Do you feel that parents need to be?
But it's hard. It's hard to say no, man.
Do you feel as
It's
if parents need to be more educated towards what's what in terms of like buying stuff in games? Because, for example, you, as a parent who's not tech savvy, let's just say, you've got loads of different types. You've got free to play
Talking
games
most here, by the way.
which have pardon.
You're talking most parents.
Yeah, well, this is the point. This is the point.
I'm saying that more and more parents.
I'm
are
asking,
13
does there
these
need to
days,
be a
so.
little bit more clarity, a little bit more insight? Because to me, it feels like, as far as parents are concerned, it's left deliberately vague. So obviously we're like a bit, well, obviously we are like very well versed in the subject. So you've got games that you pay for, which then have DLC and battle passes. You've got games that are free to play but pay to win. You've got games that are free to play but have loot boxes. You've got loads of different options. You've got
Nice mechanics.
surprise mechanics. These are surprise mechanics. Actually,
I think a prime example of a game that can fucking catch people out massively is Warframe.
Mm-hmm.
Prime example, because when you start playing the game,
prime example.
you click Prime Warframes and that. But like when you start out in the game, you have no idea what you do. The game gives you 50 platinum, which is like obviously real life money, which can also be earned in game by trading shit. Yes,
Yeah, prime currency.
Your platinums. But like you then obviously are like, oh, I've got this platinum. I've been given it for free, and then you go to the storefront, and every Warframe, there's the picture there with each sort of frame and whatnot that you can buy, and on the front page there is a platinum price. So you're like, all right, well, this is platinum. You have to pay platinum to get it. But what most people don't get explained is if you click on it, so it takes you to a page in the top option, the one that's highlighted says like this for 325 platinum. But underneath there's a blueprint that you can buy for like normal in-game currency. Do you know what I mean? So like, if you want someone who's played that game, or you've spoke to someone who plays that game, and your kid comes up and goes, "Oh, I need this money to get this character in this game," it's like, it's not just a skin, it's a blah blah blah. You could be sucked into it. Whereas if someone who knows it, it's like, well, no, actually, you can buy the blueprint and go and play the game and find all the shit.
I think a more relevant version of what you're trying to say, in the exact same way, is FIFA Ultimate Team. Obviously, you pay for the game.
You can buy it, but you can get it for free.
You pay for the game. Obviously, that's still full price as well. I think FIFA 21 today is still like 45 quid on CD keys, which is mental.
Unless you've got Xbox Pass, then you get the Microsoft Game Pass that gives you free access.
Whatever.
And you play.
But the point is that you can just keep
80 quids.
Is that, you know, there's still like a really expensive point of entry to get into the games, and then to actually be relatively decent at Ultimate Team, you've then got to go and spend loads and loads and loads of money. Yes, you can play it and enjoy it without spending money, but you're not going to get into the higher leagues. Let's face reality in that regard. And then at the end of the season, all your progress is deleted and you got to start all over again in September, which,
just get yourself, just be done with it and get FIFA 99.
The thing with FIFA, because I played a lot, right? I was never into FIFA. I was Call of Duty until I was around about 17, and then obviously some friends obviously enjoy sports. Like you enjoy sports, Craig. Me, not really so much. You go play football, I don't. I'd rather sit out at home and I'd watch like MotoGP or Formula 1. But it's like each to their own. And I got introduced to FIFA. Like my brother used to spank us on it, but never really tell us anything of how to play. He used to just whoop me arse on it.
Was it just your brother that spanked you?
Yeah, pretty much. I never played FIFA with anybody else. So what happened is that obviously our mate got introduced. He used to come around and we used to play a lot of FIFA, and he taught us a lot of tips, tricks, and then I got into Ultimate Team. I think my first Ultimate Team was FIFA 16, and I think I paid around about £80 in like online currency for that one. Then 17 come, I spent a little bit more because I knew what I was doing at the start. Like I was like at the end of 16, 17, I kind of bought in at the beginning. Got the Ultimate Team. I spent around about £100 odd on like packs, and also paid the additional amount for the FIFA with the expansion pack, where it's like 6 months of additional 1 pack per week and stuff like I done all of that stuff, and I played and I played and I played. No one plays FIFA for fun. Not Ultimate Team.
Well, this is the point. This is back to the first point at the start of the podcast. People aren't playing games to
humiliate people.
Exactly. People aren't playing games to have fun anymore. People are playing to win. And
you're a fucking wallet with legs.
And people, there's not to some people, right? Because some people are absolute losers, and for some people there's not much of a they don't mind paying as much as whatever they will pay for the game. And that's when it kind of comes down, wait a minute, are you paying to win, or are you playing for fun, or are you playing because you're skillful? But people will put a lot more money to get the advantage on better players instead of just sitting and learning the game.
Yeah, and that kind of takes us back around to the debate that we had a few podcasts ago, when the pay to win versus the free to play balance as well. You know what I mean? It kind of comes around to that. But I think that
there is no balance.
There is no.
You're fucking deceived if you think there is. There is no balance.
There is no spoon.
I'm fucking. Do you know what? I love that fucking shady fucking hand flick every fucking time. You're fucking deceived. got us in the last fucking podcast as well. The shady finger flick.
They're being deceived.
Oh, I love it.
The end is among us. The end is now.
Well, this is the thing with gaming particularly, is that when people win, let's say, fast games, like games that are over in like 5 minutes, 6 minutes, whatever, the win doesn't feel that good, whereas the loss feels utterly and truly devastating and gutting. And there's the imbalance there where the win is not worth all like, well, even if you're winning more often, even if you're winning more often than you're losing, like the winning doesn't feel as if it's worth that loss from time to time. You know what I mean?
Counterbalance it.
Yeah, the counterbalance isn't there, which is kind of like a big problem.
If you're sitting there playing a game and you're going from next, like let's just say you are that good and you're sitting there playing a game, you're just like, all right, next.
You win the game. Yeah, well, that's the attitude, isn't it? You win the game, right? Okay, next one. And then you lost. You're like, oh my god, your dad sells Avon.
Yeah, you probably
That's
shouldn't
not what you
really
said.
be playing that game, though. Is what I'm saying, because I mean, although there's nothing wrong with playing a game that you're good at, if you're like untouchable, I mean, you might as well just do something a little bit more challenging, or the game kind of has no flair. Like there's been games like that where I've kind of played them and they've been way too easy, and I've just been like, I cannot play it. Like I'm freaking bored, man. It's like done. Like I used to play Tekken really well. Like I used to love Tekken.
You used to play Tekken?
Hell yeah, man! I've been playing computer games since I was like 4-year-old. I've got a picture upstairs of me playing Tokka, right? And I'm sitting in the living room with a motorcycle helmet on, TV about this big, this fat. It's freaking huge. There's like an old, like it was like in the 90s, man. It was in the 90s. I've been playing computer games for
Tokka was decent,
as long as I remember.
Tekken was
like,
good.
I completed.
I said like, Tokka, not Tekken.
I played Resident Evil 1 and 2 and completed them both by the time I was 8. There were single player games. There's no like online challenge, but it's still quite an accomplishment for a child to do, considering most kids at that time couldn't even play the game because of all the zombies would freak them out.
Well, that's why you got mental health issues, man. Playing Resident Evil 1 and 2 at a young age. That's it. Just
there's something wrong with me when it comes to a game. I cannot be gored out. I cannot be really scared. Like sometimes in a multiplayer game, like I played that VR.
The only emotions you feel is the negative emotions.
Not gonna lie, like when I was a bairn, I played like the first Resident. I don't really like Resident Evil because I've played like 3 or 4 of them, and to me it just feels too fucking samey. It's not just that franchise though, just zombies in general, even zombie films.
After 5.
Not just games. It's the same shit every time. It's like, oh my god, there's a zombie outbreak. Oh god, right? If we shoot them in the head, they die. The end.
With the exception of Dead
Space. But I didn't ask for your input. If I wanted the opinion of an arsehole, I would have leant over and farted.
Bitch, this is a podcast. Down. Everyone has their input.
But I played... So the first Resident Evil I played was Resident Evil 1, and at the start, so you got into the mansion. And, like, obviously the controls now, if you play it, are clunky as fuck. And you get to the point where...
PlayStation 1.
I don't know.
No, the PlayStation's 2, isn't it?
It's a mansion, and like all I can remember, I got.
Do you remember moving the statues?
You go in the first room. I went off to the right, and you go down the corridor, and there's a window on the right hand side of the corridor, and a fucking zombie bursts through that window, and at that point,
it's a licker. Climbs the walls. It's got a long tongue.
I don't know, but it just this zombie burst through the fucking window, and at that point I launched the remote and just noped the fuck out of there. I was just like, nah, not playing that. Bye.
It was like that with the first.
I don't know if it's 1 or 2, you know.
It's like, yep, nope, not for me.
I think you might have hit the nail on the head there, because Resident Evil, you walk off the streets and you go into a mansion. But Resident Evil 2, you walk off the streets and you go into a it's pretty much a mansion, but it's a police station. So you go in, it's like the stairs going up, and you go there. But the mansion's kind of cut out. You kind of go in, you go left, and you full corridor. And I think you're right. On the first one, it's a zombie that comes through the window and he kind of gets up. But on the second one,
that's the one.
The introduction's like a licker thing. You walk past the window, and it jumps out behind you, and it starts crawling the wall, and you've got to like shoot it off the ceiling and.
No, this was like a proper dive through the window, belly flopped on the floor, and then gets up and runs at you. And I was just like, nope, fuck off.
Do you know what? No one ever really talks about any Medal of Honor.
Because the game's dead. Why would you talk about it?
The game wasn't always dead though. It had
but the point is, it's dead now. That's why no one talks about it.
It's not. It's still alive.
Is it though?
It's dead.
Is it though?
Dead. They're still producing games, you knocker. Of course it is.
But
I think the last one was Airborne, wasn't it?
I don't know. Like I said, it's pretty much dead.
Just
The last
because
ma-
you
la-
don't play it doesn't mean it's dead. It's still got a very active.
Mate,
Don't-
most
don't
games I've heard of in the past few years, like, you know, if you're not hearing about games and you're not seeing gameplay and none of the streams are picking up games and no one's watching the game's dead.
It's not.
I mean, the
Because
last
the internet controls what it directs you to. By
the
your
last
service.
Medal of Honor that I can remember was Medal of Honor Rising Sun. That gives you an idea.
Yes,
That was wicked. That was
same.
PlayStation, man.
That was a good game, to be fair, though. That was
That was
wicked.
PlayStation. It was really good.
That
Yeah.
was a wicked game, that was. But moving the conversation on, we'll talk about a lot of the negatives of mental health's relationship to gaming. Obviously, there's positives as well, and it's important that we do highlight these positives. Like, for me, where do you... For me, I kind of stand in the idea that in regulation, I think gaming can be really good for you, especially because, you know, you socialise with friends a lot. You got to remember the A1A at the start of the lockdown. Me and this paintbrush. The A1A at the start of the lockdown, like, we were a group of friends that couldn't physically interact with each other, and we came together. It was a social aspect which made lockdown for everyone involved so much more bearable and actually at times enjoyable, especially when everyone was furloughed. It was a bit like going back.
Do you
to
mean
school.
everyone? What do you mean everyone?
I was never furloughed. Like,
No. You were the only one that was furloughed, living off my fucking wallet. You mook.
yes, you little fucking tax hogger.
Bum.
No, the point,
You're only joking. I've got nothing against people like that.
the point is that I was going to say not like I had a choice.
Suck dick for furlough. I would have. I would have.
The point is though is that, like, for everyone involved at the time when the A1A started, obviously everyone at the time was on furlough, and it kind of felt like the Modern Warfare 2 days where, like, you know, you didn't have any responsibilities, didn't have anything to do, you just kind of just sat around and played games and loved every second of it, which was, you know, interesting. So for me, that was gaming at its best, having a massive positive impact on everyone who was involved, and then as well the people who would be watching the videos off the back of that. The majority.
To be fair though, I mean one of the.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say one of the things. Like, I mean, me, like, if I didn't game or like that, I would, in theory, I wouldn't talk to Hexy. Do you know what I mean? Because, like, that's how me and Hexy met. Used to were in a game and I jumped in, just randomly started fucking chatting shit, and then obviously a lot of the time when you're not online and I'm not being an antisocial fuck, I just sit and fucking chat with him and listen to what's going on in the background at his gaff.
But normally just me and Charlie bantering on, really. Or sometimes generally I will whack up a stream in Discord of what I'm doing. Because I'm always doing something. Whether it has interest other people. See, the thing I've started to find is like some of the games I'm into now, they're not like speedy pace, so they're not like Call of Duty. You're not blitzing through a house and you're not shredding people down.
Because you get
like
old.
what I find with Call of Duty, it is very one track in a way. You've got one goal.
Well, it's a rail shooter, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, and it's arcadey, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's not where I do like it, but it's not where I thrive. Like, I prefer. I've got to have some realism out of it. Like PUBG. If PUBG was as active now as it used to be, I'd be all over it. But I kind of go into PUBG now because it's all full of just hackers and bots. I mean, who the hell goes in the game to hack? And then you go in and 90% of the players are computers anyway that can't even shoot you. I mean, and then I tried Battlefield 4 because I really want Battlefield 2042 to work. Now, this freaking thing better work. This better be good.
I need to download that. You need to get on me to download that, by the way.
I've already pre-ordered it and stuff.
No, man, I'm talking about Battlefield 4, you dick.
Oh, it was all right for like 2-3 days, and I was playing it, and like, but as the days are getting closer and the more bans are happening on COD, they're changing over because a lot of the aimbot structures are the same between games and like when you have a look, if you look at a YouTube video or something of how a cheat is built, most cheats you can put in more than one game. Even though they advertise for one game, they generally operate in more than one game.
Yeah.
And obviously Call of Duty and Battlefield are very competitive. The hacks off both sides are kind of rife from the get-go anyway. I think Battlefield handle hackers a lot better. And I'm really hoping that they bring it out. I'm really hoping because we need no hackers for
Well,
2042.
obviously,
We're obviously going
every
to get
single
some.
game will have hackers. That is
We're
just
gonna get
parcel
some,
of it.
but we need them to step it up.
But
and kind of like.
do you believe there is positives for mental health in terms of gaming? And if so, where's the
Yes.
line? Where does it become unhealthy, and where is it exceptionally healthy? What's people's thoughts on that?
Duration. I say duration. Me personally, I say the amount of time you spend in a game is the difference between how you're going to end up socially. Because, see, me, I've always been in them, and I'm not a very social person. I can go out and I can socialize. I've always been able to go out, but I mean, like, apart from at school where everyone pretty much knew who I was, after school I've never hung around with a large selection. I've always had a small circle. And I think I did it well with the duration and how I kind of managed my own time. I wasn't really monitored; I just did it myself. But if I say I spent any longer as a child, I probably would have been unsociable. If I wasn't forced every now and then to go out and get some air and see the guys and stuff, like see friends, I would have probably spent my whole childhood in front of a computer, and the majority of my adulthood in front of one. I wouldn't have people I did today if I wasn't kind of pushed and had me time breaking up. You need outside. You do need outside. I don't care how good of a gamer you want to be. You will become the best gamer you're going to be by playing in moderation to what suits you. You're not gonna become amazing because you spend 24 hours a day, because your brain needs rest. It needs to recuperate. You need to rest your eyes. You need to rest your ears. You need to rest your throat. You need to revitalize your body. You need to stay hydrated. Like, it's all to do, to me, it's duration and moderation. It's all about how long and how often. It's how long and how often per day. If you want to be a professional gamer as a child, say I'm speaking to children, if you want to be a professional gamer, the best thing to do, talk to your parents, get them to moderate your time between socializing with people, socializing with social media, actual gameplay, and then you kind of got, it's like training for anything.
Some kids play games to avoid their parents, though.
That, I mean, I kind of take anything away from those kids. I really can. If you're using games as an escape, I would still say moderation is still important.
Yeah.
Because even sometimes you need to escape the escape, or you get trapped in it, and then you're fighting something totally different. You don't want to replace one problem with another, because then you're in an everlasting fight.
Yeah.
Everlasting fight.
What about you, Trojan? Where do you feel you stand on this particular moment? When is gaming good for you, and when is it bad for you?
I'll be honest, I don't really have an opinion on it. Like,
just love gaming.
That's a first, bloody hell.
You're having to go at me about me being over opinionated when, like, I would say a solid. But there's 3 people, so in theory, there's 33.3% recurring of time, and approximately 45 to 50% of that is you slamming your fucking gums.
A bit of a bite
with
there.
Your shit Newcastle shirt. Where's your It's Coming Home shirt? Get in the fucking bin.
Mine went through grayed out, man.
Yeah,
and then all the white.
Mine got lost in transit.
I just like the fucking cup when it was supposed to be coming home.
Cup of tea, maybe.
In all honesty, I completely forgot to buy an It's Coming Home shit. It wasn't until today I thought, oh shit, because I was actually going to do it.
No, I'll not fucking let you forget. No, I mean,
I bet.
I don't know. It's just one of them.
Every podcast till this happens.
The main reason I don't really have an opinion on it is because it's something that I don't really think about. Like, I mean, look at the fucking clip of us. Do I look at the type of person who looks at something and goes, "Is this healthy?" It's like, no, I'm not. It's like, do I want this? Yes, I do. Someone could be like, right, you've got to choose between like gaming, but you haven't got a chair, you've got like a dick stool, or not gaming for the rest of your life, and it's like, fucking, gives the stool. Gives a go.
I'll get used to it over time like I do everything else.
I pretty much. But it's like, I mean, I think when it gets to a point where you when you're at that age, when you should be, for example, having a job. If it gets to the point where you aren't looking for a job, or you are, for example, you don't have the time to look for a job because of games, you need to have a chat and be like, what's
I
going
need
on?
an income because
Aye.
if you want to play games that much, you need money to. Because games cost
absolutely.
money, and I'm not just talking about the game, the console, the PC, the controller, the appliances.
Where's Ali's pretty lights coming from? They're not coming from now.
The desks and stuff
Your
like
arsehole.
that. Like you've either got to have really rich parents to be able to afford it, and if you're wanting to get into a gaming world from not having an aspect, like a console is your best bet. I say if you do have a job, it may be worth investing a little bit more time and saving a little. Getting a PC, you're going to get such much of a better experience, and you're going to feel a bit more value for your money. But I think if you're kind of don't have a job and you're looking to do like any sort of high end game, and you're probably going to be looking towards consoles, though, really, aren't you? Really, like let's just say Trojan didn't have a job, he'd probably slap PlayStation 5.
No, I'm PlayStation. How are you?
Or an Xbox. I don't know.
Xbox.
I loved PlayStation 1 and 2.
Yes.
I was like all right with the very first release of Xbox. Xbox 360 was wicked. Was absolutely one of the best
360 was where it was
ever played on. Ever. Even to this day, I don't care frames or whatever. I would choose if someone went right. I can give you a day on the new PlayStation, new games, blah blah blah. You can test it out. I've never tried one. Don't know what they're like these days. My last console was a PlayStation 4. Or you can go back to being 16-year-old playing the 360. I'd take the 360 every day of the week, every time. Like, there's no way.
Is that the console speaking though, or the nostalgia?
No, I would go the console.
Good question.
The console was great, man. What was wrong with the console?
I'm not saying that's me.
Ring of death.
That's me being devil's advocate there, though, because like for me, I love the Xbox 360. Loved it.
Class. I loved it. It was the best white shit I've ever seen in my life. It was great.
Oh,
it was the best albino poo ever. It was mint. For me, that's where game a step up.
We see, for me, it was all about PlayStation. So
PlayStation 4, yes. PlayStation 3 was shite.
Not having it. Not having it. PlayStation 3 was mint.
I had both. I'll tell you straight. Xbox 360, PlayStation over PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4 over
I'm not
Xbox One.
I'm not taking that from you who underclocks your CPU. You can get fucked with that, mate.
The new ones, I'll probably still go over a new generation Xbox.
I can't wait till we've got a studio and your mic stops cutting out. Like,
it's. I think, to be honest, I need.
No, it's just your mic. It's shit.
So it's not. It's the way I was broken.
Do you feel that? Well, I'll answer this question, myself included. Do you feel that gaming has been good for your mental health in the long run, or had a negative effect on your life in the long run?
I would have ended my life if it wasn't for gaming.
Oh, fucking hell!
That's straight up. Especially over I'll be totally honest with you. Especially over, I would say, probably the last 3-4 months, where things have really kind of hit us mentally. If I didn't have the ability to game, I would give up. I honestly would. I would have given up.
Love you.
You were saying, just said. Yes,
love you,
the cat actually did like to say "love you" bye, then fucked off upstairs.
But yeah, on a serious note, if I didn't to kind of vent anger out on, or be able to reach out to people when I need them, because like with things like me, like I don't go to, like, I'm not tired at 8-9 o'clock. I mean, we're streaming now. I mean, we're not streaming, we're live recording now at 9:15. I'll probably not go to bed until around about 8-9 o'clock the next, like, tomorrow morning. And even then, I'm going to sleep, or I'm trying to go to sleep because I know I need it. And now I've got tablets to kind of help us do it a bit more comfortably. But if I if I didn't like when I wake up in the morning and I'm feeling like shit,
Mhm.
and then I go down now. I meet a couple of people on the computer. They're kind of like, "How you doing?" Like you automatically like sometimes you don't need to self check yourself because there is a lot of good people online if you get yourself in the right communities. There's a lot of nice people. Um, I've had it where like I've not had any money because I've like spent it all on bills or whatever, and I've been feeling really shit. And I've just been like playing a game, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna jump on that game," and I've just been like, "Oh, I haven't really got that game."
Yeah, but you also
They've
paid
bought-
2 rents in a minute
Yeah,
as well, though, mate. Like that will pass.
yeah. And they've also and they bought us the game. I've got like 3 or 4 games I've been playing from what other people have advised us to play on, and just to kind of keep us in. And I think without gaming, without the community, I mean, obviously my girlfriend plays a big, gotta give her something, even though she hasn't got a clue, she's sitting there singing away. But yeah, so I think without it, I wouldn't have a reason to really be. It's like the only thing I've got right now.
Yeah, and I'm sure that there's many people out there who kind of feel in a similar way, but people of all ages, young, middle, old, ancient like yourself. But like
Every
like
time I
older-
bend my knees, man, there's like, I was like, I didn't even know I
Funny.
had that many. Like-
It's funny. It's funny how you call them proper old, and then you go to say no, but then accidentally say nana.
No.
Nana.
But like I do genuinely feel that, especially over the past 18 months during this pandemic, it's done more good than harm. Like straight up. And I think that is something that really should be celebrated. Trojan, what about you? Where do you stand? Has it been better for you in the long run? Worse for you in the long run?
Remember, you met me because of gaming.
I'd honestly say it's
That's a negative.
been much better. I'd say it's been much better because for me, sometimes I get home from work and after speaking to people for like 9 hours, it's just like, do you know what? I want to not talk to people, so I don't want to go out. I don't want to be face to face. It's like some of your pals will be like, "Yeah, come out, we'll have some mint conversations," and it's like, no, I've had 9 hours of that, thanks, and getting paid for the privilege. It's like, oh, but we'll have some good banter, and it's like, no, I'll have the good banter and everyone will laugh at me. Like that's what'll happen.
The thing
9
about going
times
out
out
with
of
people
10.
from work is that I was talking about work as well.
I was talking shop, and like for me, so I'll come home and I'll either play on Warframe because it's the poison of choice at the minute, or I've been watching Netflix, and the past couple of nights I've just been having a couple of bottles and fucking playing SnowRunner, just fucking drink driving and that, driving trucks in the wilderness, delivering pipe to men that need piped. Fucking splendid time.
Piped.
Yes, and do you both
You
feel
have
as
been
if,
piped.
and do you guys like still today feel, obviously I know Hexy you just said, but do you feel as if that's still in effect today? Obviously not just in the long run, but like do you still feel as if you're in a better place after a couple of hours chilling on a game, or do you feel as if there's other stuff you'd rather be doing, or like do you feel do you feel fulfilled or satisfied? Like how do we like feel after a day at work and then a bit of chill on a game, and then how do you feel after that? Do you feel chilled, or do you think, ugh, what have I done with myself today?
I feel chilled.
Yeah.
Not quite a level of chilled of like chucking your muck, but I mean close.
You're not losing any sleep because of it. Basically,
Yeah.
if anything, you're
Yeah.
getting a few extra Zeds and waking up a bit fresher because you know the next day. Yes, you've got to go deal with like 90% of the shitty people. But you know, at the end of all that, at least you get to sit and chill down, have a chat with some mates, and kind of let it all behind you to refresh yourself to take it for another day.
Chat goo get lagged.
Essentially, to me, gaming's kind of like my version of a painkiller. I don't like taking tablets. I don't take paracetamol. I don't take things ibuprofen, things like that. But one of the things that I did used to feel coming out of work was just purely looking forward to getting in front of my screen, meeting people that I actually wanted to meet and talk to, not people that rudely just come within me headset and just start telling us I'm not. You don't even know us, you know what I mean? No, it's not. Like, I don't even know you. Like, go
Yeah,
away.
I've shagged your ma. It's like funny,
funny-
enough.
it's
So
funny
the rest of the lobby.
It's funny because we
We
went.
still need Fuck It Fridays. We need a Fuck It Friday
we
where
do, I
if
know,
you're at
I
work
know.
and you're in a call center and someone comes in, blah, 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 you're just like, yeah, mate, shut the fuck up and boosh.
It's funny
Like, we
because
just
we
need
went
a
ooh
fucking
before and your
Friday
cat
or
came
whatever.
walking straight in there. That was hilarious.
Not even like fuck it Friday. Just like even if it's 1 day a year, like the purge. It's like I'm not sure if I'm through the right department, and it's like it's not fucking hard to listen to fucking numbers and press the corresponding button. You thick fuck. Hang on. Yeah, I don't know if it's you. I don't know if it's you that'll help us. Not today, cunt. Fuck off.
It's funny going back before there because Hexy said you mentioned a few friends had bought you some games. I bought Trojan a game once, and he basically told me to go fuck myself, and that was Among Us.
Yeah, Among Us, we did have some, like, if you get the right people Among
Right.
Us, right, it's a great game.
It
It's
is.
a great
It is,
game,
but
right?
when
Shit
you've
game.
got people who
With the wrong people.
when you've got
it's
people who
shite.
like bitch on a bit more than they should, and then you've got people who are playing on mobiles, constantly dropping out, leaving you with 3 people. Not really my cup of tea, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
But
Steam version is definitely the best.
coming on to the gaming, because I did say I'd answer the question myself as well. I feel as if it's done me more good in the past 18 months. I think anything, well, let's say 2 years actually. Let's say pre-YouTube channel. I'm just talking over the top of me pop filter there, making it the pop. Sorry. So let's say pre-YouTube channel. I think the amount of times that I was putting into games, particularly before I was 18, I think it was unhealthy, and I was going on a bit of a path because I was using it to escape from reality a bit more than what I should have been, and I'll admit that, and that was a big problem with me. Like, I didn't want to interact with the outside world. I was sick of being, like, mocked, bullied, blah blah blah. I mean, I couldn't give a shit now. I get stuck into me now. But at the time, like, you do feel, I did feel as if it was very unhealthy. But at the time, I had that group of friends. Again, most of them I knew online, and I had that social aspect, and that kind of just kept us going. So the social aspect was good for me, but the amount of time I was spending on it wasn't doing me any favors. I looked like the stereotypical gamer nerd when I was like 14, 15, 16, 17, even up to when I was 18, to be honest. So I do kind of like feel as if the social aspect did me wonders, but it came at a cost of just feeling generally crap and feeling like I felt like I was wasting my life at the same time. So it was a double-edged blade, so to speak, in that regard. However, but post YouTube channel, I think it's done me an absolute world of good, because I kind of exiled myself from gaming a little bit before then. I wasn't really playing games that much. I was playing games maybe 2 or 3 hours a day. Not a day, sorry, a week. And that was when I literally had nothing else to do. So come the YouTube channel, it allowed me to feel as if I was not contributing per se, because obviously I had a very small, the channel was like minuscule back then, but I felt as if I was doing something productive. I felt as if I was doing something that benefited me and enriched me as a person and as a creator. Like, I felt, like gaming gave me that opportunity to create content. It gave me that opportunity to interact, and it kind of gave me an excuse to talk to people again, because I wasn't at the time. I was a little bit of a social hermit myself. Like, you know what I mean? So
Just saying, I need to go and get a drink. I do
All right,
apologise.
fair enough.
Let's make us dehydrated.
all right, Craig's talking, so I'm just gonna go fuck off now.
Oh, he's got plenty of time. You can get down to the Tyne and get yourself a glass out the Tyne by the time you're finished chatting your waffle.
It's funny because he's actually talked quite a lot this podcast as well. But the point is, I think I feel as if now it does do me more good than harm, and I think that is kind of where a lot of people are at the minute, particularly a lot of people our age. The older we've got and the more responsibilities we've got, more bills we've got, in some cases kids, the more beneficial it is for you, because it is a little bit of an escape that you do need. Whereas when you're a bit younger, it kind of holds you back a little bit. So that's kind of where I stand in regards to that. So yeah, just kind of.
Sorry, mate. I'm giggling away because I'm looking in the Discord. Hexy's pissed off to get a drink, and all I could see was like fucking Jinx walking backwards and forwards, but I couldn't actually see Jinx. I could just see his tail bobbing along. It was like a little fucking cat submarine. Hey, what a
hey, indeed. So like, I suppose in terms of that, on the whole, do you think it's gaming is better than good? Sorry, better than bad, or worse than good?
I'd say it's good.
Mm-hmm.
The problem that you have is there's a lot of stigma around gaming. So people putting out the shit like fucking, oh yeah, people who game, they're constantly wasting their life away, and meh. And it's like the prime example of someone who plays games shouting at their computer, and someone being like, it's just a game, but they shout at the telly when they're watching football. And it's like, at least what I am doing, I have some form of physical exertion on the outcome of what is happening. You're shouting at some man because he didn't put a bag of wind in a net. Like, he can't hear you. The people on my team who I'm shouting at and calling shit, and the person on the other team who I'm telling how shagged he's ma, he can hear us. That actually, like, me saying something actually does something. You shouting at the telly just fucks everyone else off.
Yeah, this is true, mind. This is very, very, very true. I think it does more good than harm, if I'm being totally honest. I think that the social pressures that kids are putting on themselves, again, like with the Instagram example that we used earlier, I think that that society is kind of pushing people into these negative mental health conditions. People want the attention, and if they don't get the attention, or they don't get as much attention as they think that they deserve, and then that also sends them down. Like, good isn't enough for people anymore, and people joke up, like older people do joke on about a sense of entitlement amongst younger people, but a lot of it is true. a lot of people, when I say younger, I mean like sub 30. A lot of people think that the world...
Not Alan.
Not Alan. A lot of people do think that the world is their own, and that they can do whatever they want with it, which, isn't exactly the case. And when people realise that they're not actually entitled to anything, which they do around the 25 area, that's when people's mental health and society they think that society judges them poorly. Even people who do have thousands and millions of subscribers, a lot of them are upset because they don't have millions more. That's mental. Like, a good analogy is that the person on the bike wants looking at someone who's in the car. The person who's in the car is looking at someone in the bigger car. The person in the bigger car is looking at someone, say, in a fancy jet or whatever, and then the person in the fancy jet is looking at someone flying something to the fucking moon. You know the point? Like, the point is, no matter where you are, and you're looking at someone, and you want to be that person is looking and not wanting to be where they are. They want to be somewhere else, and they'll be the same as they go through the tears. So that's just kind of how society is at the minute, and I don't think any of that's down to gaming. I don't think that's anyone looking at, like, oh, I want to be this streamer, I want to get to this many subscribers. It's everywhere. It's not gaming culture. That is society right now. And the sooner that everyone kind of comes to terms with that, the better, and we can move on. So yeah, that's kind of like my piece. But the question that I was putting out there before, Alan, when you very rudely disappeared, was...
I was so dry-mouthed. That was terrible. The tablets make us the tablets I've got to take are like really dehydrate, like make us thirsty as hell.
The question was, on the whole, does gaming do more harm than good, or more good than harm? The cat's still wandering about in the background.
Living his best life. That's what I could say before. I was saying you went to get a drink, and I was like, Craig was waffling on about something, and I was trying not to laugh because all I could see was like the cat was on the floor, but all you could see was like his tail like bobbing along. It was like a little catty submarine.
So I mean, my opinion within the subject was like, I guess it's very hard because like I'm all for it and I am against it, which makes it very difficult for us to choose a side regarding
You
an
don't need to
opinion.
choose like a side more,
Because
so to speak.
I pretty much feel like I'd be repeating myself because I do feel it's just a moderation thing. I feel there's nothing wrong to go to a game to escape. If you're generally an angry person and you need something to vent, and it's whatever it takes to stop you from hitting someone in the face, and the game works for you, use it. But I would still say within moderation, because at the same time you bottle up all those feelings as well and hide them behind the game, because it's only a release temporarily. You've got to remember, a computer game, it's never really gonna heal you. You know what I mean? It's not a medication. It's more of a coping mechanism, I would say. But I would definitely say if you spend too much, it can influence you, depending on the amount of on the amount of time you put on it and who you obviously spend that time with. Because a lot of times when it comes to things like games, there's like when it comes out of games, like you were saying before, you look at the person in the bigger car, you look at the person, you're always looking at the next best player and who you aspire to and how good you want to be. But you don't really want to take that away from how happy you need to be at the same time and how healthy you need to be, because at the same time that person
People don't know the
that
answer
good.
to that question for themselves, so people don't know how to be
Yeah.
happy. People don't know what they need. People don't know what like moderation they need in certain aspects, be it alcohol, food, gaming, TV, you know.
But
Drugs.
just like when you were saying with the car, like the person wants the next best car and the person's the next best job and wanting to be there. I mean, even once you reach that, you're not going to want that anymore. You know what I mean? So
You want it till you've got it.
Yeah, you want it till you've got it. And then, like, I'd really tried to be good at Call of Duty. I dropped the controller on PlayStation once I started playing Warzone. So I was playing multiplayer with a controller. Went to Warzone, everything was too paced. I felt weak to turn off me actual. Oh, my microphone just dropped. I felt weak to turn off the crossplay, and I felt it would make us a worse player if I did so. I absolutely refused to choose Resurgence. And I did it all to be a better player. And once I become a better player, I was like, right, I need a better computer, blah, 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 blah. And it just didn't stop. It didn't stop. I needed something else. I had HyperX's headphones, Razers, and I've got Logitechs, and then I had Rockcat mice, and then Razer, and then Logitech. And it's the same like with everything I've had. It's like there's no given end if you don't monitor it properly. And at a stage, I wasn't monitoring it properly, especially with the job that I was having and how much I was getting paid. It was making it a lot easier to kind of just be like, wait, meh, I've got this much, it's only worth that, and I want that. But I think over the time, although I do love the gaming and all that stuff, sometimes I do feel like I've kind of relied on it a bit too much to bring us happiness.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I was kind of feeling with Call of Duty. I relied on it too much. I was playing it from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed. And I think the best thing for me that I've done within me, even though I've had to kind of take a break from streaming a little bit, obviously due to everything that's been going on, is that going into games and meeting other people made us a little bit more happier than competing, even though I've got nothing against it. Like, obviously I play Call of Duty occasionally with you sometimes, Craig, and I occasionally jump on Zombies or an alternative game with Trojan, and I love doing that with the people I've done it with for a long time. But there's also, you've still got to meet new people, you know what I mean? You've still got to go out. I've been playing a lot of naval action and met a lot of people who changed me opinions on a lot of things, I guess, and especially when it comes to the like how gaming's been for me and how it's been affecting us over the course of, say, the last 18 months that I've been doing it due to COVID and all that stuff. And I would honestly say it was bad at a point, but now that I took a step back and had a look, and I thought, right, everyone wants to see us play Call of Duty because that's probably the game I do aspire best. I'm probably best at. I'm terrible at DayZ, but I've put a lot of hours in. And I think that was the best move for me to kind of take away the pressure, because like I felt like every time I played, I had to perform. It kind of took away the fun, and now that I took a step back, I come back and I jump in for a fun game with you when you're on stream. The day before, I jumped in for a little bit of a laugh with Mullet, with like 350 ping, which was like crazy. But I think taking that step back and then returning done us all the world of good. Like I thoroughly enjoyed that game when we play. With teammates were inconsistently in and out and chopping and changing, but I still really enjoyed the night. And I hate quads, and we played quads, and I had a brilliant night.
Yeah.
But if I'd done that 6 months ago, I'd have been like, oh, quads. I know what this is going to be like. This is going to be like 3 carrying 1 or 2 carrying 1, 2 or even 3 carrying 1 in some points, depending on who I was playing with. And it felt like, because I knew I didn't have the team behind us, I couldn't go in and enjoy the game. It was creating stress. And I was just like, nah, I don't even want the games. I'm going to move away. And although I still have the same opinions about the game, it does have its lot of negatives. I feel that I can still return and enjoy it, and I can play better as long as I keep that mentality in mind that I'm controlling about how much Call of Duty I'm playing, because it is addictive. Like you say,
and it is a game that you can only really play in a positive state of mind.
Yeah,
which kind of leans into the next
it's
bit,
where you
really.
perform best.
Like,
you can play it whenever you want.
Yeah,
you could be in hospital. I mean, there's people that play Call of Duty at a really high standard who have limb deficiencies or like so on and so forth. But I think mentally in their mind, they've got to be stable. Like you can play Call of Duty regardless of what you want, but I would recommend, if you're going to play a high stress level game like Call of Duty or like even Battlefield, for instance, you've got to go in enjoying it. You've got to. Well, if not, it's going to drive you crazy.
The next element that we'll kind of get into here is, obviously we've talked about gaming's effect on mental health, but what about mental health's effect on gaming? So games like your Warzone or Battle Royales in general, where you do have to concentrate quite a lot, or competitive games, any game that is played competitively, do you feel as if you, especially now with everyone trying to be a professional and their moms, do you feel that you need to be at peak mental health to perform well in games like Warzone, anything competitive, XYZ? Because I think you kind of do, especially when you're in higher KD lobbies. If you're not feeling both physically and mentally primed, you're going to struggle a lot in these high pressure games, in these high pressure situations, which people with weak mental health do typically struggle with. So
yes,
do you think there is a correlation to be had there? I'm going to come at Trojan for that first,
Trojan
actually.
First, though, yeah.
That's my input. I mean, I don't really in depth play those types of games. So, like, I mean, I would say
it doesn't have to be Call of Duty. You got to remember, you play a lot of Warframe, but I would say as a person, you're quite mentally. I mean, to me anyway. I mean, a lot of things are hidden, but like to me, you're quite a mentally sound person.
Have you met him properly?
I mean, he's definitely hilarious.
Other than trying to see a cock when I've had a drink.
and sometimes he does do some, like, what you would say is like crazy stuff, but like he does it for a laugh. You know what I mean? It's like controlled. What he's doing is controlled.
Yeah, my problem is
he peaks. I've seen him play Warframe. He's good. He's really good.
My problem is so why I come across as such a fuckwit is if I'm bored and something will amuse me for like even 6 seconds, and even if that winds someone up something fucking chronic, I'll do it. Just for that 6 seconds of amusement, I'll do it. I'll fucking wait, and so that's why I'm just like random as fuck. Like, but I mean, I think if you
But how do you feel your mentality? Say, like, just currently speaking, how is your mentality affected? And so, you, like you say, you're stressed at work. You come home from work stressed. Do you kind of just detach and just go for the game, or does the game kind of help you stabilize your mental health? Or
I think for me, how I feel mentally affect what game I would play.
That's a very interesting point.
Like-
Your state of mind, so to say, your state of mind doesn't dictate how you play, but what you play.
Yeah, so like if I've had a shit, I mean, don't get us wrong.
If I've had a shit, I'll play Warframe.
No, wait. If I've had a shit day, like Warframe it's not as like mentally demanding as what say Warzone is, because
Yeah.
you've got to be like a fucking praying mantis on Wiz, be like, oh, someone's there. But like Warframe is more mentally demanding than say SnowRunner. You've got to run around, you've got to have accuracy, you've got to do the objective. There's a fair few things to think about. Whereas if I get home and mentally I just think, I fancy having a bottle of beer and just vegetating and not really having to think about what I'm doing. I'll go and drive trucks around Michigan. I'll deliver wooden pallets to people. I'll build bridges. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes, obviously, that's not always the rule. So sometimes if yous are on and you're like, oh, come on, jump on this. Sometimes I think, can I be fucking arsed? But I'll jump on anyways for the crack. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of variables with it. There's a lot of...
You see, so this is interesting because for you, you've basically said your mentality will affect what you play. For me, I feel as if my mental state affects how long I play. If I'm feeling really shit, I usually am irritable, and it usually only takes a couple of things for me to think, right, this is a bit monotonous. I'm done. I'm playing something else, or I'm going offline entirely. Whereas when I'm feeling really good, like I was on Sunday, like I am today, like pretty much like I have all week, to be honest, like I can sit there and do a 10-hour session, no problem at all. So
that's because your main Warzone though. Do you know what I mean? That's a game that is very pinnacle on.
It's really
it's
tough
good
game
at
to
the
play
same
though.
time.
It's a really tough game to play mentally. Like, you go through a lot of shit on a regular basis playing Warzone.
Yeah.
Especially when you're playing in high KD lobbies. Like, so...
Barrier, didn't it? All the time.
So, like...
Every step's a barrier.
It's interesting because, obviously, like I mentioned, we've got Trojan whose mentality affects what game he plays. Me, it affects how long I play for. Where does it affect you, Hexy, do you find?
Mine affects how I play, and I suppose
No offense,
in a way,
but I've noticed this. Fucking the paintbrush.
And also in a way what I play. So, obviously with, say last year when we all started kind of getting together and started streaming together and stuff.
Yeah.
Everything was going like really well for me in a lot of ways. But then I guess over to like once, like obviously we lost a few people and stuff like that. It obviously affected in ways I wasn't really processing properly because I was kind of putting all my focus into Call of Duty and I wasn't actually dealing with what needed to be dealt with. And I think over time it kind of gave a toll on us, and it did come to a point where it was affecting me kind of how well I was playing in Call of Duty. Like, how did I not do him? Like such and such, and that's kind of where I went across to like DayZ. I wanted to try something fresh, something new. So I kind of just like dropped the streaming. I didn't play Call of Duty for a very long time.
See, you've mentioned how you've played there, and I couldn't help but notice that actually, because usually you wouldn't mind dropping hot. You'll drop wherever the hell the objective is. But I noticed that instead of being on the front foot and being aggressive and attacking it, you were wanting to actually land in quiet places. You were wanting to kind of just wait for people to come to us.
It wasn't that I was wanting to do it.
I know
quietly.
you're not necessarily. I know you weren't
back.
You weren't
just like, just take control.
You weren't wanting to do it intentionally. Just your gut feeling was saying we should be a bit more passive, instead of your gut feeling saying we need to get right up in his grill and shove an SMG down his throat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of like your instincts as a gamer were affected because it has you in one mindset and moved you to another mindset where you didn't want to be
Yeah.
aggressive because you felt as if it was pointless. Whereas when you are in tip-top condition, it's the other way around. Like, waiting for people to come to us is pointless because then they've got the advantage if they know where we are. Like, you know, it's affected in
If they move
different...
out of sight, then
It's
if they move out of sight and you don't move, they know where you are. You don't know where they are. It's a whole ball game.
Well-
And I'd like totally agree. I was a little bit more passive, but I think that's more to do with how long I haven't played Call of Duty 4, and obviously all the meta changes and DPS damages and stuff. And I wasn't really 100% on my classes and stuff like that. So there's a little bit more to why I was playing a bit more passively that day. But if you realise it was probably one of the best ways I've played in a long time. It's like some of the best games I've had in a long time.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. Just assume you
for
weren't
me,
bloody
but-
recording the first part of it.
But I did, because I did kind of do a thing on the stream where, like, if I was going to record, I would make sure that I would post to the followers and stuff that I do have on Facebook. They haven't actually been able to provide Call of Duty footage for. The games I've been playing lately are a little bit more slower, so I haven't really found it pointless. I don't want to bore them away, and I don't like they came for the Call of Duty, and I don't want to force them into something else. So I'm going to wait until I get a little bit comfortable with it.
Yeah,
But-
just kind of like ease yourself back in. Push, push
Get back
gently, as
into
my
it,
dad would
but-
say.
But the way my mental health was affecting my Call of Duty play is it was kind of when everything was going good, I was going in strong. I was going in with slides and drop shots, and I was pre-cancelling people, shooting people, pre-firing before corners and things like that.
Yeah,
And it kind of took away that sort of confidence where, like, I kind of knew I had me speed and aim to back myself up.
do you know now that we
Where
talk
when
about
the
this,
confidence
Hexy,
drops, the kind of you're like,
the
have I
intensity
still
of
got
the
it?
gaming
I'm
drops?
30.
Do you know what I've noticed talking about this? Is
I was
that
going to say Hexy's verbally painting a picture, and you're trying to fucking physically paint one with that fucking throw that paintbrush away, will you? I'm fucking sick.
right? Okay. So it was an iPad down there, which I'm really hoping I didn't hit. But yeah, like I've noticed that in myself actually. Now that you mention it, one simple change in mentality is my transition from Ghost to Restock. So obviously I always
Yes.
used to be on Restock, then I went to Ghost for a bit, and now I'm back on Restock and playing a lot more aggressively. Obviously it'd been a bit more set with where I am in life of work and obviously being here and all that stuff. So yeah,
That changes who you play with as well. That's the difference.
subconsciously, whether you are aware of it or not, your state of mind does affect how you play games.
Affects everything you do, I think.
Do you wanna-
to be
do you wanna
honest, I
even-
don't think there's much you can't do without a good state of mental health.
Do you
I
wanna-
think a bad
Do you want to
state
know an
will
even
affect
bigger
everything.
mindfuck, though?
Go on.
Do you want to know an even bigger mindfuck? When you need to mentally restock, you use Ghost. And then when you are mentally restocked, you use Restock in game. Ooh.
I love it. I actually really do like that analogy. I wish I used that in the video I put out last week regarding it. But speaking of games, what's everyone playing these days anyway? Because obviously it's been a little while since we've done a podcast. Again,
Where would
due
you
to
like to
illness.
start this one? Because it's a question you kind of, I know you kind of like to instigate the questions, and you're always kind of Trojan. Oh, Hexy, how do you do?
I do.
Start this one.
Yes, boss. Obviously, I've been playing a lot of Warzone lately, which is grand. I'm also doing another playthrough of Witcher again, just on the side. But like I'm doing that at like 11, like at night. Play that for like a couple of hours before I go to bed, and then just kind of take it easy. Like I used to hate like open world games like that, but now as I'm getting a little bit older, like I start to kind of really enjoy them a bit more. So yeah, I've been really enjoying The Witcher a lot lately. Obviously Warzone I'm playing a lot more as well. So yeah, to be honest, I'm not really gaming that much over the past 3, 4, 5 weeks. I've only really been putting in about 4 hours a week into Call of Duty, which is a bit mental, with last week being the exception, where obviously streamed for 10 hours on Sunday. So kind of like building my way back into it now, but I do actually want to play other games, and next week's topic for the podcast is going to be, are we waiting for Warzone to die? But for the time being, I'm just kind of cracking on and just kind of getting on with life. Really, it's been a I would say it's been a busy couple of weeks, but it hasn't. I've just spent it off me rocker and codeine and in bed, so I can't really complain in that regard. But what about yourselves?
I'll let Trojan go if he's happy.
I've just been.
I'll let Trojan go. Bye.
love you, bye. Just Warframe, mate. Warframe. Last couple of nights, a couple of blasts on fucking SnowRunner, but other than that, I mean, I've been looking at having to go at that Verdun. But other than that, not much really.
Yeah, fair enough.
Creature of habit.
Creature of habit. Hexington.
Wait, me, I like to get my finger on all the pies, me.
As the cat comes out.
So me, I went from, as you know, I went from playing Warzone to some DayZ. I even experienced VR where I done nothing but play VR games for a week. I really wish I streamed it though.
You were spamming that in the podcast group chat when I was dying.
No, it was brilliant. There was just some experiences that I had first time that you just don't get in a lot of games. Like simple games that are like free as well, like Poker Stars VR. Like there's people who play that game who don't even know how to play poker, and it's just sheer hilarious. Some of the tables, like some of them are like pretty serious, obviously when they're playing for millions and millions, but when you're sitting in the lower end tables and people have got like thousands of chips and you only betting a couple of hundred, like 5k is like all in. Fuck it, just hide it all in. And you can physically interact with all these items. Their premium currency, you can buy it, but it's also earned by playtime. So you get like one gem a minute for every plane. It's like only like a couple of hundred, and you get like a really cool ninja mask or something like that. And it was just excellent. And then I kind of stepped away from it because, like, obviously I was starting to get a bit VR goggled experience going on. Like, it always felt like I had a headset on, like constantly, even when I didn't have the headset. And when I was kind of walking, things were like kind of sway a little bit. So I was like, I'd have to ease myself into it. So maybe I'll give it a couple more days and go back to it. But
fair enough.
That was brilliant. And then I started kind of looking into sim games. So I was thinking about a simulation game where I could wear my VR headset and Formula 1 car and have the steering wheel and the goggles and stuff. And that's what my cat's annoying us. And that's what I was kind of looking into. And as I was looking through simulation, stumbled across Naval Action, which is a battle war. It's like old boats, wind power, and it's open world, and you can literally build your own ships. You start off with a little boat. You can board other people's boats, steal their boats, and you kind of manage your crew, and you just kind of build in different ports, and you transport your goods, try and not get kind of attacked, or
you
sit
mentioned
and
that
wait to
this
attack
game
others.
can take like 7 or 8 hours to get to the other side of the map.
Yes,
like,
it's time consuming.
That
in that
does
regard.
not sound like a fun time to me. Hello, Jinx again in the corner. That does not.
Depends on your grind, love. If you love a grind.
I love a grind, but not 8 hours just to get to the other side of the map for a
Yeah,
miscellaneous objective. Like,
but this is how trading works. So it's kind of established. So you kind of you go to report and you go into the shops and you have something called a trading tool.
Mm-hmm.
And what you do is you have a look at the prices of how much they are. You then put the item that you're looking for in the trading tool, and you can sort how like the cheapest place to buy it and the most expensive place to sell it. There's a cat, everyone. If anyone would like a cat, I'll go. It's really not bothered at all. So you've got like a trading tool, and you just type the items in. It tells you the cheapest place to buy it, most expensive place to sell it. You've got to choose wisely because you do decide a nation. So each port is created as controlled by nations where real players actually go and do their trading. So that's maybe where they go to build resources or build ships, and they'll want to transport it from there to other places. And you can kind of go in and control those ports as well. You can take over them, make them yours, or you can just surely go there for PvP. There's events that happen daily within the game to keep you busy.
Are you selling me this game here? Are you?
All right. It's way I'm just telling you about the game and what we've been doing. Is
I was going to say I'm never going to play it, so you don't need to sell me it.
Yeah, but like there may be other people that watch your channel who like these games. I mean, I don't know.
No need to sell
For the
it.
interest of the viewers, is not you.
Hey, we
Not everyone,
sponsored-
not everyone wanks themselves to death on Warzone.
we ain't
yeah.
sponsored yet.
And
We don't
there's-
need to sell any
that's the
games here.
thing, there's other games. No, by Naval Action, I'm not telling. I don't even need to tell you how much it is. I haven't told you how much I've spent money on it or whatever.
Oh dear.
I'm just explaining the game and what I've done.
Mm-hmm.
But alternative to those, I did try other games in VR like Pavlov and stuff, which is great. But yeah, I try like I say, I'm a true gamer. I try everything. I try experience everything, and I always trying to share as much as I can. I always try and get
that,
other
isn't
people
it?
involved.
Like how, like 30 years ago, experiencing everything would be traveling the world. Now, experiencing everything is just spending 8 hours traveling to another end of a digital map on a game. Like,
Yeah, I mean, everyone's worlds are different.
indeed.
By things to do everything differently. I mean, I just see I see the real world as a bit of a shithole. The digital
Correct.
world, it's beautiful in its own sense,
Yeah.
I guess.
Well,
There's
that's-
things that you see that you're never gonna see in real, and there's things that we see in games.
There's things in real life that you'll
some
never see in
people
games.
Are never gonna see
A real pair of
and
tits
there's-
for most of us.
Yeah, I mean, on a daily, I'm alright, but socially, I mean, and things like there's other ways to socialize with. For those who do struggle with the whole face-to-face and are never going to be able to stand or be able to go out with somebody, a game is another way for someone to be able to experience it. I
Wait,
think we
again,
should really take that away
it's-
for some people.
It's kind of escapism in one aspect.
Yeah.
So yeah. What we'll do is now we will move on to news, announcement, and rumors. We've got none. So we'll move on to.
Oh wait, Bloodhunt still hasn't got a release either.
Oh.
They're still not doing a release for Bloodhunt.
Are you being for real?
What?
The start of the podcast. Do we have any news, announcements, and rumors? Oh no, got nothing.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that if they had a release date for Bloodhunt, it would be one, but they still don't have one.
The
So I
news
can't
is
provide
that nothing has changed.
There is that I can't remember if because last week you ended up cutting us off because obviously our Lord and Savior Shadow's Reign has to have his 50%, obviously. But obviously the Starfield, I don't know if it
Genuinely
ended up
didn't know if you
coming
wanted
up.
to say anything.
Well, you wouldn't because you didn't ask. You just talked and scared we're somewhere else.
Bitch, I always
As
asked,
if-
do we have
as if-
anything for
as
news,
if-
announcements, and rumors?
as if-
I put something in there the
no.
day before. Do we have anything for news, announcements, and rumors? And I was like, no, I've got nothing. So don't give me
Fucking
that shit.
Dog botherer. But the obviously Starfield, so the new Bethesda game, is rumored. Obviously, this is like weeks ago now, to be fair, but it's not really news. Is rumored to be exclusive to Microsoft, so PC/Xbox. It may not be coming out on PlayStation.
Oh, so it's going to be like platform locked.
Yeah, so that's like part and parcel of this whole Microsoft's acquisition of Bethesda. So all you little Sony nonces, enjoy that exclusivity because you're not getting the Bethesda games. I
That
personally
can
don't-
make or break games. That though.
It's
you
funny
know,
because
as well.
PC's
Now,
getting
people
all their
expect it.
exclusives as well.
Yeah, but people expect crossplay now.
Yeah,
That's the thing. Like things weren't crossplay, and it was good. Like gaming was still good, but you've got to think crossplay has changed gaming now.
So
Like when as a child would you like could you imagine jumping into Call of Duty 4 lobby with your controller, playing with the PC player back? day, you wouldn't do it.
you'd
No,
get-
I couldn't.
No,
When I was a kid, it shows you how well off you were compared to me. I couldn't even imagine jumping into a lobby when I was a kid. It's like, I never thought I was going to get the internet. It's like, no.
So actually, tell us a bit more about this game then, Trojan. What is this game?
Yeah.
What's it all about? Why is this news? Why is this
Give a
exciting?
hexy description.
Wait, I don't know the ins and outs of it because I haven't really read into the game massively. But it's essentially a game getting released by Bethesda. And the most I know is that it may not be coming out on PlayStation. That's the extent of my knowledge.
Bethesda did Doom, didn't they?
So Bethesda do things like
Like Doom
Fallout,
Eternal.
Skyrim, Doom, all
Yeah.
of those games.
I'm sure they're really pride on their visual. Bethesda.
Oh, look, Hexy's
Um,
mic cutting out again.
It's probably got him sitting playing with the wire, man.
It make a difference anyways. You'd
Yeah,
probably get cut off by Craig anyway.
Like do you know much about Bethesda's games, Shadow?
Mhm.
Yeah. So did you play things like Doom and stuff?
Played Doom in that, yeah.
Yeah. By the like, if you have a
bit
look at
Fallout
their
as well.
like although they're not known really well for player or anything like that, but like visual effects within their single player campaigns and story modes and stuff are like second to none. And a lot of their games are like people plan to speed run them, so they look for their games are competitive in the sense that the time to completion.
Yeah. Fair dues. Well, we look forward to that. So we'll move on to the next section now, which is PC talk. Andrew, question for you. What do you think of your mic stand?
It's very efficient. It's very standy, and holds a mic.
Because you see, I'm not entirely convinced by mine because I've got to constantly fiddle mine around, and then, like I say, like I'll do this
Tighten
and then
it
let
up.
go, and it'll just drop. So yeah, I can't tighten up, but like the bearings and screws on it are just awful. So I'm thinking about investing into like a proper Rode one. It's about 90 quid, which is a lot for a mic stand. However, I do feel as if what Trojan there. I do feel as if might need another one. Also, as part of the studio plans, so this affects everybody. I've been looking into the audio setup. I've been speaking to my audio guy and how we're going to do that. So the move to the studio is looking like a reality, but it's also looking like it's going to cost about 800 quid to properly set up. About $1,000 for room dampening as well. So
Free renovation for you, Hexy.
So yeah, well, it's kind of.
So where's this located? Where would this be
I
located?
I don't know.
Turn around, Hexy.
Oh, so
around,
this is just for
turn
all
around.
the equipment you're talking.
Yeah, this is just the equipment.
Hexy, turn around. There, that's where it's going to be located.
I'm gonna just stay off from my computer. Just
But yeah, once I've got the equipment, I aim to be able to take it anywhere really. But obviously one set location would be good. Only thing is that we would need to treat the room a little bit. However, a big room like that, you wouldn't need to treat as much. Just saying.
like we said from the beginning, if it needs to come in,
I
as
know,
long as it
I
doesn't
know.
constructually change anything, then it should be fine.
But yeah, essentially we want to be able to get a set in and around everywhere. But I got a lot of things I want to pay for first, before I come round to that. But essentially, we're kind of getting planned. I've spoken to my audio guy and the mics that will be setting up for everybody as well. We're getting there. We are getting there. So I find that really exciting. Another thing that we want to talk about as well. PCs in hot weather. How have you guys found it over the past couple of weeks?
No problem.
I did have a mare like the other night. I forgot to open my window, so part of the obviously I got myself a fan because it's like fucking breathing soup at the minute. I didn't open my window, so that didn't help circulate hot air out of the room. So obviously my computer's down here. The fan is like, I knocked that bottle over, but the fan is like there. Ooh, look at my fan. Ooh.
Is that like a dehumidifier fan, or is it just like a stand fan?
No, it's like it's not a dehumidifier or any of that shit. I've now got something underneath the fan that's causing it to not balance properly. A pair of gloves. Yeah. Explain that one.
I think that you've got something warm that's holding up something that keeps you cool.
But obviously, my PC is on the floor. Heat rises, and then when the window wasn't open to help circulate the air, I basically had heat coming from the computer up and getting blown in my face. And then with the window not being open, obviously it's all just hot air in the room, which was gash as fuck.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, that was a problem that, a very similar problem that I had at the old place, especially with the fact that there was 2 PCs in a little room between 2 mattresses. Like, that thing just absorbed all of the heat. Like, so the room was just forever hot. So, yeah, the reason I bring this up is because, like, for the first time, like, I can sit down, blast a game and stream at the same time, and not once I've been like, fuck me, it's far too hot. Like, it's a liberating feeling. But I was just wondering if you guys.
I think it's just because of how high my ceilings are. Like, I don't really get any issues like that. Because like this room's massive, and it's like I'm in like what would generally be considered a dining room, although kind of took over. But it's like the next room's open for me, so I don't have any issues. I never even knew that was an issue.
Yeah, well, yeah. What about the old house? I thought I saw a cat there, but I didn't. It was just the way the light was reflecting. That was.
It's that fucking paintbrush again.
Do you mean when I was like at the bungalow?
Yeah.
Where the bungalow, I was only there freaking 3 months, mate. And it was snow most of it.
What about the place before that, over in miles away?
Over in
Pilo
Hewith.
or Hewith, whatever.
Hewith and Pilo. Wait, I mean Hewith was smaller.
It was. It
Pilo
also
was
had 2 computers in there.
Yeah, so Pilo was kind of like this. It was just like a downstairs flat, but it was like really high. Like if I can turn it up, it's like pretty high. I think they're like 16 or like somewhere between 16 and 12 feet.
That's what the cat keeps looking at. That thing at the
The fly tape.
The fly tape.
Oh right, I'll cut that out. That's just because of the summer for the backyard. I can't even cut it out.
Why I was gonna say it, like, fucking, turn around.
But, yeah, so let Dale give us that because he was like, oh
look, I never.
And then let's say, you know, so it was either that
again.
He's gonna sit and aggravate us until.
Yeah, but did you find it was a problem when both computers were running, or was it?
Oh, do you mean like when James was staying with us?
Yeah.
No, because there was still quite a distance between mine and his computer. If you don't recall, there was like a full chimney breast between where, and it was quite lengthy behind us. Like this is quite narrow. Like it was like double this in length that way, and then there was like a kitchen, and the kitchen door was always open. So I never really experienced an issue with us being an upstairs flat, and there was like an older woman living below us. She used to obviously just blast the heating because she's old, and my flat used to heat up. But as long as I kept all my doors open and didn't put the heating on, I was fine. Like everything was fine. But now you say about it, when I used to live at my box room, which was like a room like this, when it had everything in it, like it had like my bed and chest of drawers, and then my computer desk and stuff. In the summer, if I didn't open my window because it was double glazed in there, and it would have been like heat. Like it was unbearable to be in there sometimes. Like I'd be literally having this like sitting gaming in your boxers, like, oh, can I leave?
Gaming in your boxers.
Yeah, that's definitely what you were doing.
Like peeling yourself,
just getting yourself a bit lube on the go, and just.
Did it sound like someone running around your gaff in a pair of flip flops? I was going to say though, he's saying get yourself a bit of lube. The worrying thing is he had that lube and then that paintbrush on the same desk.
I'll tell you a hilarious thing that happened. Right,
it's just a face wash. That's all it is.
So I was playing naval action, right, and we went and we attacked this big fleet of ships and we like destroyed them and we come out, and the guy was like, "All right, no problem, I'm going off," and he muted his microphone and turned his game off, but he wasn't streaming naval action. screen in his like actual first monitor, and like the game went off, and you see bang, internet browser, red tube. He's typing in his search. He clicks enter. He's just about to click it, and I go, dude, you're still streaming. He goes, no, you didn't see it, did you? I was like, I seen everything. All he heard is bloop, 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 bloop. Everyone jumping in his stream to see what he was having on. It was hilarious. He got caught literally willy-handed with his willy in his hand.
Literally, when we talk about something, literally anything slightly innuendo, your cat appears.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I find that brilliant. I genuinely do. I genuinely do. I suppose another thing that I forgot to mention in the news announcements and rumours is one, challenge changes. If you haven't seen the video already, we are kind of tweaking things of how we actually get on. So instead of recording everything behind the scenes where no one can watch, we're going to be recording actual gameplay footage sessions. Anything longer than 2 hours basically is going to be getting streamed. And that's just as we do it. Like if we've got people who are just jumping in and having a chat, and we're playing games in the background, you guys are going to see all that. And also you will just generally, it's just kind of how it's going. The upload schedule isn't changing, it's just getting enhanced because, like I say, everyone is kind of waiting for COD to die. So it's kind of important that we spend this time between games, you know, waiting for a new good game to come out, just chilling with each other and just kind of, well, ripping into each other, just kind of getting on with it. So yeah, and yeah, with that being said, I think it's time for everybody's favourite. Did ye nah? It's been some time. I feel as if we need a theme tune for Did Ye Nah. Like, I can just press a button on the Steam Deck and there's just like a theme tune that pops up and Hexy's cat.
Did you know that your ma's your dad? Way.
Oh, I had me fact on screen. It's
Your
just
mother's your aunt. Oh god, that thought actually. So yeah, we are going to start with Sir Hexington.
Mechanic, because mine's disappeared and I can't remember which it was. So go to Trojan. I'll try and
Post
locate it.
first. Craig.
Mine first. Okay. Did you know?
Did you know?
You'll understand why I kind of like slipped there. Did you know that the first King of England set a bedtime of 8 p.m. and made it law?
I did not know that.
The what? Set a
The
bedtime
first
of 8
King of
p.m.
England made it law that you had to be in bed by 8 p.m. How on earth do you enforce that? Like, much if you've got bends in that as well. Like, that's just absolute ludicrous. Like, you step outside at like 9 p.m. It's like, oh shit, gotta be careful here, I'm breaking the law here. Like,
I'm not getting pulled over because you're out after 8 o'clock. Shops don't shut till 1:30 sometimes.
we just kind of lived through that in a way, haven't we? Like, when you weren't allowed out past a certain time. But yeah,
Way
like,
back for when the lampposts get turned on.
basically, the first King of England was everyone's ma. Be in bed.
Your ma's your dad.
Your ma's your king. Your reigning monarch. But yeah, that's my did ye know that it was law to be in bed by 8. I wonder how that went down. Anyways, Hexington, have you found yours yet?
Yes, it was. So mine is, I'm not going to go ocean related, but I am going to keep it mammal. So, did you know that wombats are the only animal or mammal that can poo cubes?
I did not know that.
I did not know that.
Do you know what's funny?
It's kind of weird.
Do you know what's funny?
Is your fact about shit as well?
It is.
What kind of expected from you, though?
It's strange how we always have like people who kind of have similar things, isn't it? Why did the shit cubes though? Have you looked into it? Have you elaborated on it? Or
I don't believe there's like a specific reason as such.
Like,
well,
do they
there's got to be a
just
reason why the
due to
shit cubes, Hexy.
do they like? Is it just a thing that happens? So they just That shit is just square, or like
just
do they have it for a
that,
particular reason so they can file it away easier or something?
Is the anus square? Do they build Lego out of it? Is like the anus square? Like
I know why they do it. So they do it to mark their territory. So what they do is they put cubes and they
how can you shit cubes though? Like do they have a square anus? Like this is the facts we need to know.
So it just says this is due to how its intestines forms the feces. So it's just how their intestines generally work, and the animals then stack their cubes to mark their territory.
Literally shitting bricks. Like
yeah, so they shit a brick, build a house, and they're like, "This is my place now.
This is my gaff."
They didn't quite do it like Great Britain and slam a flag in it, but they do. They do like stack them in cubes. Like they do stack them in cube, and I guess the guy with the biggest poo cube wins. I don't know. I don't know.
I saw
the biggest shit. I don't know.
I saw a meme
like
I quite
Donald
liked on Facebook last week. It was when you don't celebrate Independence Day because you're the reason there is Independence Day. It's like, oh fuck.
Do you know the thing is, if Donald Trump had a spirit animal, it'd be a wombat, so he could shit bricks and build walls.
build a wall.
We're gonna build a wall and we're gonna shit it out.
It wouldn't cost these fucking country
We're gonna build a wall and you're going to shit it out.
Yeah, so that is mine. Would Trojan, would you like?
Come on then, Trojan, hit me up.
So a bit of prelude. So I thought science is a good sort of, it's working well for us. I thought I'd bring it a bit more present. So rather, obviously, cats and Clavia was 1700s.
You gotta follow up with Digi now though.
The cat phone was sort of early 20th century. So did ye know that in 2019 some scientists from Kent State University made a knife out of shit?
A shit
Did
knife?
they freeze it? Was it like nitrogen cooled or something?
No, so basically, I mean, 2019 for me, I was thinking, fucking hell, science, wow. Back to the Future, 2000 and whatever.
Knife.
But look back to the Future, and whatever date it was, hoverboards and that, 2019 scientists making knives out of their own shit. So, the reason that they've done it is, obviously you've got Inuits, like Eskimos basically, and there was a theory that Inuits, basically an Inuit didn't have any tools, and they live in like sub-zero conditions anywhere to like -50. So an Inuit basically made a knife out of their own shit and used it as a survival tool. So two scientists both started bagging their own shit, put it in a freezer at -50. Bearing in mind the two scientists ate different diets to see which shit knife worked the best. And they basically ate a particular diet for 8 days to make a shit knife, which then turned out not to work. 2019.
It didn't work. So I was just gonna say, what one worked best? Was it the fiber or?
They basically tried cutting some meat with a shit knife, and basically apparently it just mushed.
So it wasn't even a knife in the end. They literally just sculpted their shit.
Pretty much, I sculpted the shit into the shape of a knife and tried to cut a bit of beef or something.
So it didn't actually cut anything.
Well, so for me, and because I need to make it for you. What was for you, Shadow? What was the reason again that they made law that you had to go in for 8 o'clock?
Oh, the king was just paranoid.
He was just paranoid. What was he doing?
Thought he was going to get shanked, didn't he?
Couldn't handle his bongs.
Thought he was going to get shanked. Thought he was going to get shanked. Luckily, not with a shit knife.
Like, see, I literally just want to say,
Well,
Craig,
basically,
their favoritism.
Basically, the obviously the first king of England, like William the Conqueror, obviously Normandy invaded from modern day France. Then obviously the Anglo-Saxons were there before. After not too long getting rid of the Britons, which were like basically like leftover Romans. So basically he was just scared of like getting shanked because everyone still lived there. He didn't slaughter them all. He's kind of, I'm king now. Well, obviously it was battles and stuff, but
So he lived in like early Denton View in the 90s.
could say that, But yeah, context before that, a little bit paranoia. Didn't want anyone hovering about outside trying to kill him or anyone else. You know what I mean?
I really wish that had more of a funnier thing.
It was law to be in bed by 8 p.m. Law. Law.
I know. Right, so the law or a poo knife.
Well, he's indecisive. He's indecisive. Trojan, what are you going for?
I'm not. I'm just trying not to be biased.
Shit
You
cubes. You like we're both, so
you're making it very difficult.
shit knife or law. So I know shit cubes. Shit cubes.
Shit cubes are low.
What do you think? I've got choose between shit cubes and shit knife.
I think one's definitely cooler if it worked. It didn't work, remember?
I just kind of get out with the fact that, like, how do you turn round to one of your colleagues and be like, yeah, mate, what we should do is bag our shit for a week and try and make a fucking knife.
Do you reckon like Crocodile Dundee come in? He was like, you call that? And
It would have been more. It would have been more effective if it actually cut something. No, it didn't cut anything. So because it didn't cut anything, I've got to go for cubes.
Could you imagine though?
If it did cut something, could you imagine? I actually want to see a picture of it. I want to see if it actually looked like a knife. Because if you can sculpt your own feces to look like a knife, what else can you make it look like?
you're gonna say Trojan robbing a bank.
I am also going to go with poo cubes.
Poo cubes. Where are you going though, Hexy?
Because it's poo.
I don't know. It's hard because his knife didn't cut anything.
Yeah. Whereas
But then,
mine
I
mean,
actually
does
did
the
have
law.
effect.
I mean, if we're going on functionality, I mean, it's not like what's your most functional fact. It's like the most obscure fact.
I know.
Someone made a knife out of shit.
Yeah,
They did.
Yeah, but you
They did. I
can.
never thought I'd hear that.
Yeah, but it wasn't effective. Whereas a shit wall is effective. So, kind of had to lean in
It has a bit of fact. Like it has a bit of usefulness.
a little bit, but not much.
I mean, I couldn't imagine it being a very big wall, but it'd be a wall. I mean, regardless, you two have voted me, so I won. I like.
Bitch, choose.
I changed my mind. Nah, fucking
I'm gonna have to go with probably the low one because being a king? How can you be a king and be afraid when you like it's your duty? It's your sole goal to look after a country. That's your responsibility.
I mean, if you want,
scared of something after 8 o'clock.
kings do
Don't
kings do weird shit though. Like Henry VIII introduced a fucking beard tax
Did he?
as well. Yeah.
You should have went with that fact. That would have won.
I know, because I'd be in debt now because I'm forever too lazy to shave. That would have definitely. Why did you just waste that?
Yeah, you
Like,
just
what-
wasted a three. You wasted 3 in a row there.
What?
The opportunity to get 3 Diginars in a row, and you've absolutely wasted it.
Yeah.
I've already had 3 in a row, haven't I?
No, I think you had 2 in
Oh,
a
that
row.
was your second. That was your second.
Because you weren't on the stream before, I don't think, so technically not 3 in a row.
No, I'm sure I was on as a guest.
Ah, yeah, but it was a podcast
Guess them
before
then
that,
two-
mate.
two-
Podcast
no.
before that, mate.
Yeah. So
And there
3.
was podcasts after you.
So I was on as a guest and I
Uh-huh.
won that one. Then I had Cats and Clavia, which won.
Yeah.
And then I had Cat Heronade, which won. That's 3 in a row. You dog nods.
Oh, did you win last time, did you?
It's clear we all like cats.
Next week's fact of the day is going to be based on cat feces.
Oh, yeah, so he keeps annoying us, so I'm gonna keep. Run away.
Bring, oh,
He looks like he'd make a good piano.
I was going to say he looks like a good F minor.
He keeps doing that, right? He keeps coming for our attention. I give him attention. He wants to get
Can we leave F and minors out of this, please, Craig?
Oh my.
I know you like football, but
Looks like a C minor then. There we go. He's a bloke. It could be a C minor. Cause good old fucking meow, bitch. But it's all good. But being incisive. It's been a. What's the word?
let me know in the comments why their decision's wrong and why I won.
I'll let me know in the comments why my fact was better than all theirs.
No,
I mean, it's not
let
because
them know that Hexy returned and wiped. Just
let
as
us
usual.
let everyone in the comments know that Craig's fact was stupid because he would have had to have been in bed 2 hours ago. Now he sounds like he's underwater.
I'm just surprised he wasn't in bed too. That's his shit, Mike.
Bitch.
At least mine's just a wire default. You know what I mean?
Shit, Mike.
You all your fucking shit, mates.
You and your shit blue Yeti, Mike. Get fucked.
The shady finger.
I was playing with a guy, right? On
Well, yeah.
on DayZ, right? No, I was playing with a guy on DayZ, right? And after a while, I was like, "Yeah, dude, your microphone's a little bit weird. Not to take offense, but is there anything you can do to like try and fix it?" And he was like, "Well, not really." He was like, "Everything's a maximum. Like you could literally hear his neighbor's music." And I was like, I was like, "What are you using?" He was like, "Oh, it's my webcam off my laptop." I didn't even think to ask him how's he wired the webcam from his laptop to his PC to use as a microphone while he plays DayZ on his PC.
Bit mental.
Instead of just, it's like what goes through you? Like me, I would have just went and bought a new mic.
Yeah, fair.
I wouldn't have went and found a laptop to use a microphone from a webcam, because then he's also playing the sound through the laptop.
He must be the kind of person that buys a blue Yeti mic expecting it to be decent. So
I got no complaints with my mic. No one complains, but you, my friend.
You've had complaints all podcast about it. Just saying.
Just you. Just you.
No. Anyways,
Time to hit the road.
time to fuck off. So everyone, thank you for watching to the end.
Off, folks.
It's been absolutely amazing. It's good to be back. It's good to be able to actually speak. Trojan, brilliant having you here. Hexy, you've been all right. It's all right.
Yeah, I come and I go.
You and your Shan fact of the day, which shitting cubes. Like, I can't believe. I'm just a bit peeved that shitting cubes has won a fact of the day. Like, that blows my mind. But no, it's a good discussion today.
Shitting edibles.
Shitting edibles. Oh, hell. But yes, next week we will be discussing a COD death and how people are waiting for it to die. We'll be discussing other things as well. If you want us to talk about something in particular, let us know in the comment section below. But until then, guys, I've been Shadows Rain. That's been Hexy. Who shits cubes?